Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Broken Boys. This is episode 186. My name is Marn,
And I'm Jimmy.
and yeah, today we're gonna be talking about absolute cinema. We're gonna be talking about 21 Pilots briefly. They can go hand in hand if we're talking about the lore, and we're gonna be other various things from throughout the week on our now 186th episode of our movie podcast. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, how what films have you seen this week, Jimmy?
Well, I haven't watched any films this week, unfortunately.
Mm,
Uh, I was sick for a lot of the week, so well, not a lot of the week. I started getting over it on
get over it.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but um, the after we recorded last week, I was Sunday was okay. I went to work and I was put on fries all day, so it was hot.
Mm,
But I was like, maybe sweating this out is what I need. Maybe I need that. And I think it helped a little bit just not being around people. I didn't talk really at all that whole shift.
mm-hmm.
So and then Monday, I felt a little better. I took some Dayquil, went to work, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can do this now. But I think the Dayquil pills were like, I think them kicking in made me a little weak because
Mm,
I it happened when I took both. It took them both times I took them, and I got like weak and shaky, and I was like, I need to sit down
yeah.
for and but after I sat down and stood in the cooler for a little while, I was like, all right, okay. Um, but
Started
otherwise,
singing AJR's a week to yourself to make you feel better.
yeah.
Yeah.
That always makes me feel better. That and also um, the world's smallest violin.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
but and then Max also started getting sick because of me.
Damn.
Oops, my bad. But she handled it a lot better than I did.
Mm.
Uh, so it made me a little jealous because I was incapacitated for like three days, and I was like out of it. And she was just
Mm.
like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I can go places and do things." Well, fuck you. And I was like, "Okay, well, unnecessary." But um, otherwise, I've been playing a lot of Astrobot, a lot of Fortnite. Astrobot is I really fell in love with it the moment I started playing it. It's really
Mm.
really really fun and cute, and the puzzles are good, and I love going around finding all the little icon bots that are all PlayStation icons and video game icons in general, from Joel and Ellie, and
I was gonna say, do they reference like Last of Us in there or God of
yeah,
War?
there's a whole God of War level where you play as like a little Kratos bot,
Oh, that's awesome.
and you go around and you can throw the axe around, and it's my favorite level in the game so far. But it was so fucking fun. You can go around finding all like the eyes of Odin and breaking those, and uh, find Mimir and Brock and Sindri,
Yeah.
uh, and everybody. And it was just like, oh, it was so good. And then there's also there was an Uncharted level where you play as Nathan Drake and
Mm.
just go around and do that, and that was also super fun. But it's my favorite game. I've played all year. I think
Oh wow.
it's so fun. All the details are super cool, and it's such a nice like ode to the history of PlayStation and gaming in general.
Yeah.
But really, really good. I've been playing some Fortnite, of course.
Mm.
they added a couple things this week that make life more hell than they already were in Fortnite
Mm-hmm.
with the Iron Man boots and blasters.
And Green Day.
And Green Day,
I'm kidding.
yes. American Idiot and Boulevard of Broken Dreams were added,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't keep the F slur in there, unfortunately. So,
Yeah,
uh,
it's not canon
you
to
know,
Fortnite. But
they got two.
oh,
They let Nicki Minaj say the N word and
mm-hmm. Wait, she said the
say
N word?
Jack. Yeah, in Starships, there's an uncensored N word in there.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew about the jack off one though, if that's what you're about
Yeah,
to
the
say.
Jack Wolf.
Yeah, you have to jack
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
um, and you also you let uh oh, who says four as well?
I know they say
Somebody.
bitch one time in the Blink 182 song. I think all the small things.
Yeah, there's a oh fuck. What song is it? Uh, I know that they bleep out whore in Misery Business
Yeah.
from Paramore, but there's another song that says whore, and they just let them say it. And I'm like, why censor it once and not the other time? But
I think to an extent, I think they're using what are already like the officially released censored versions of the songs. So some of them will
uh,
censor some things that others won't. Um,
uh,
but I don't know if that how that works in every case, especially if there's an uncensored N word in the Nicki Minaj song. I don't know.
yeah. But yeah, we fucking Wednesday at work was like the absolute worst. Double cheeseburgers were 50 cents in the app.
Oh.
Um, and like those weren't like the biggest problem. There were a lot of them, but it wasn't like it's not like when Big Macs are free. It's not,
Mm.
but like from like 4 p.m. until I left, and after that, it was completely nonstop the entire time. The lobby was completely full. The drive-through was out on the street. It
Oh.
was like it. It's complete. It was complete bullshit. Like, and we were super understaffed, and it was like the absolute worst. Our drink machine in the drive-through broke,
Mm.
um, and so like the conveyor doesn't work, and we have to manually make drinks.
Right.
So like they brought the guys from BrokeN
They brought the
and
Coke
to help.
guys in. Yeah.
They brought the Coke guys in, yeah. Not to be confused with the meth guys, but
Yeah. Yeah. That's Breaking
they
Bad. Um.
yes,
Yeah.
uh, the Coke guys are narcos, but
Exactly. So they brought in Narcos. Yeah. Um.
yeah, but they to try and help and fix the machine, and they were working on it, and they were like, yeah, so unless if they want us to go in and fix it, there's going to be no point because it's going to break again. So you're going to need a whole new machine. And I'm like, okay, but the corporate will not buy us a new machine because no, you can still make them manually.
Oh.
It still works.
Ugh.
So yeah, it's been hell for
Yeah.
last week. Um, but great. As I said last week, I took my first trip to Spirit Halloween, and
Hmm.
yesterday I took my second. Uh, and I got a here. I'll send a picture into the chat for.
Oh.
for I got to download it from Snapchat. Hold on. But we were just strolling around in Spirit,
Mm.
and we found something that I've seen on TikTok, but didn't think I would see in person. It's a reference to my favorite meme of the year.
Oh. Oh. Is this? Is this the? Yep. Yep. There we go.
It's the Hawk Tua section.
Yeah. Spit on that thing.
Spit on that
What
thing.
even was in that section? I can make out like socks or those belts.
So there's a flag,
Oh yes.
lanyards. There's like a jumpsuit for like a plumber,
Wow.
a business kind of thing, and it says Haktua on the name tag. The decals, a door hanger, and I think there was like another costume. But
Wow.
yeah, I'm so glad that I was able to experience that.
That's the most
And
hilarious thing I've ever seen.
yeah, it really is. I bought one. I bought one
Oh
of
God.
everything.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I think about to actually say you bought something.
oh no, no. Yeah, yeah. Just wondering how many Faktua flags are going to be hanging in college dorm rooms
Oh, I'm sure they're
after
already
the
there.
Halloween season.
Yep.
Yeah, I sent that in, and Vince was like, "What's Haktua?"
Yeah.
I was like,
I,
"What?"
I liked your response to that. I think you're better off not knowing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I was surprised, but also I realized that he's not on social media very much, so it's like,
Yeah.
and but yeah, he enlightened himself, and it's
Yeah.
his
He,
favorite
he he found God. Yeah.
day. Yeah. Um, but yeah, that was fun. And then worked today, and it was okay. A lot of we're losing a lot of managers, though.
Oh.
Um, well, one manager who we don't like, and who left to go to Chicago and came back and was rehired for some reason. She was running shift, which is like she's in charge. Um, one night, and our scheduling manager was like, "You got to go in the hole to take orders and money. Like, there's nobody else that can go do it." And that manager we don't like was like, "No, it's my shift. I can choose what I want to do and what I don't want to do, and I don't want to go in the hall."
Oh.
And Mariah. Oops, sorry. Whatever. That scheduling manager, you don't have to bleep that. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Uh, that scheduling manager, she, she's has more seniority and more power, and she's like, "You got to do this. Like, this is your job. You have to do what's right for your crew and everything." And then the manager we don't like ended up like calling her mom and her aunt, and they wanted to like fight our scheduling manager,
Hmm.
like straight up. And I was like, what? I heard that story, and I was like, what the you had to call your mommy and your aunt to come help you at your job?
Yeah.
Okay. Help you assault somebody for telling you to do your job, but
Yeah.
okay. And then I think that's why our scheduling manager is also quitting. But she said she'll do her last week, but then she's done. And I'm like, girl, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that manager that called her mommy and her aunt got fired for that, and then our other manager that we do like, he is probably gonna end up leaving because of our scheduling manager leaving.
Hmm.
So we're gonna be down to a couple managers, and it's not
Skeleton
great.
crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't plan on being there much longer.
Oh.
Gonna start applying places, so
Yeah.
uh, get out of that. But otherwise, I didn't listen to anything this week. I didn't watch anything this week. Just kind of got over my sickness, played Astrobot, and chillaxed. But
That's fun.
how was your week,
Well,
Martin?
week week was fine. Thank you, Jimmy. Week was fine. Day after we did our podcast on Saturday last week, and then the day after that, went to see Magdalena Bay live. Currently number one album of the year on album of the year, uh, rated album, as well as my album of the year so far this year, Imaginal Disc. Got to go see them live with my buddy Dane and his girlfriend. Um, and that was pretty good. They came up and they offered to drive me, which was very sweet of them. Um,
Mhm.
we got there. It was the day before Mexican Independence Day, but I don't think I don't think I was mistaken for thinking it was that day. There was a lot of Mexican pride going on, which is obviously cool and fine. But like we'd be like lined up outside of the venue, and then just giant trucks ripping through the streets of Chicago with two giant Mexican flags on the side of it, honking their horns at each
Wow.
other. Um, and that was like one of I don't know, probably 40 that we saw that whole time. It was
That's
cool, but it was just like something's happening today. And it was happening the next day. Um, but there was that. Before him, we were gonna try and find some food. The venue, which was Talia Hall, Thalia, I don't know how to pronounce it, was on like a street of a bunch of restaurants. So we were like looking at our apps, like Dane and I, we were just like, what sounds good? What we want to get? What we want to get? And Dane's girlfriend used her eyes and looked across the street and saw a Korean place or whatever, Korean food, and then
Mhm.
we zoomed into that on our Google Maps, and it was very small, but it had good reviews. So we went in there, and I got some beef bulgogi for the first time.
Oh shit.
Have you had beef bulgogi?
I think I have. I think we went. Me and my family went to a little Korean restaurant at a strip mall, or not a strip mall, like a
Mm.
at one of, like an outside mall after we saw Barbie. I think
Oh,
last year.
okay. Yeah,
I think I had bulgogi there.
yeah.
It was good.
Mine was very good too. I've heard nothing but good things. I always think of Schlatt saying it too, bulgogi,
Yes.
beef bulgogi. Um, but it was very good. It was basically just beef and rice, but tasted very nutritious. Uh, did maybe slightly TMI here. It was a little greasy. Did make me slightly gassy during the during the
Wow.
concert. No, for me that was fine. I feel bad for the people who were behind me potentially. I don't know, because it was a standing venue.
Yes.
I don't think I was
Yeah,
too
that
bad,
happened. That's
but
something like that happened with me too when Allie, my ex, and I saw
mhm.
Rex Orange County. We went to Noodles and Company prior to that,
Mm.
and we got pot stickers, I think,
Oh,
as an appetizer,
that'll do it.
and those made me real burpy,
Oh,
and
burpee.
those did not smell great. And she was like, "Stop burping," and I was like, "I'm sorry, get out."
Yeah. Imagine how Rex felt just hearing a guy burp all the crowd and burp the whole time.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but no. But yeah, I don't think anyone heard me, but if they smelled me, I mean that's different. But I got to I after we saw Nothing But Thieves last year, I was really inspired to buy some hearing protection because I remember their opening band in general was very loud. Um,
Mhm.
and so this is my first concert I've been to since then. I was able to test that out, and that was pretty good. I mean, I left the concert without my ears ringing, which I think is kind of crazy. I was just like, oh my god, I can hear the world around me after the concert. Um, but it was cool. It was a nice little venue. Their opener, I don't know when they brought them on, but like I think they were pretty like I don't want to say last minute. But it we couldn't find any information on their openers except for on the ticket itself,
Oh,
which I don't remember their name now, but they're pretty cool. They were a Mexican group. They're basic. The sound of their music was more or less Magdalena Bay, but Mexican. Like not even just
okay.
being racist. That's just what it was. Um, like it was very drum and bass, very synth heavy related, but they had like the wildest stage presence. Like they came out in like this red ass lighting, kind of like the routines in the night lighting that we've been seeing recently. Um,
Mm.
and they were dressed in like these cultish outfits, like red robes a bit. And the guy just comes out saying, "Hello, we are this band name. We're from Mexico." And then he opens up a Bible and just starts reading a bunch of Bible
Oh.
passages in Spanish, but like while ominous music's playing, and remember they're in cult outfits and stuff. It was pretty wild. No idea what they said the entire time, but it was entertaining. The guy just like played like he was playing like electronic drums, I think on like a little drum machine, but he was like doing it live, and you could tell he was doing it live. And then the lead
Uh-huh.
singer, she was really good. She had good stage presence and voice and everything. They were
Mhm.
they were interesting, for sure. Definitely one of the weirder stage acts I've seen for an opening act for sure.
Yeah.
It was cool though. But then Magdalena Bay, they were very good as well. They basically played Imaginal Disc front to back. Um,
Ooh.
like occasionally, like they literally did play it in order, but like in between a couple songs they would, bring out like a big hit from Mercurial World as well or something, but then they would resume Imaginal Disc. They basically had like the whole narrative going on throughout the whole show of, the disc being inserted into the head and self-growing and stuff like that. A lot of outfit
Mhm.
changes, like cool sounds. Basically all the moments on the album that get like really dark and psychedelic were like really cool live, which I was expecting them to be, but like killing time when it gets like really shouty, or not really shouty, but like just distorted towards like the back half of
Uh,
it, or like the ending of Tunnel Vision where it's just prog rock. It was so sick. They were very good live performers. They had like this little mirror on the stage that like was casting a video on it the entire time. Um, and it was like the visual. It would be like extra visuals for the concert itself. So like if it was a song that had a music video, they'd be showing some of the music video visuals alongside them on the stage. But occasionally she would be like interacting with it and stuff. Sometimes if like the whole stage turned red, the screen would still be like a bright blue. So there was like a cool contrast there. Um, I don't know. It was pretty cool. I made the joke to you. It was kind of like having Subway Surfers at my concert, just like a little something extra to look at. Um,
yeah.
yeah. And then yeah, the last thing I want to mention is there's a part I think it was during watching TV, like towards like that big climax at the end of that song.
Mhm.
She had like a real CD, I assume. And then she was holding it like uh upwards and downwards, you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to describe it. Like if
Like
what?
like like with the face like it facing you or like
She was holding it like vertical, so like if she hold it like horizontal to put like if you were putting it into a Wii that was standing up, you know what I
oh
mean? She was holding it
uh
like that, and then she tossed it into the crowd like that, and then I was thinking to myself like, is it safe to throw CDs like that? I feel like that's like dangerous.
yeah.
But no one got hurt. She threw it right next to us, not too far from us. Um, I think I don't remember if it was this crew, but there was like a guy like near us that was wearing a Black Country New Road shirt. I think it was near him too. But yeah, yeah, it was a cool show. Would recommend seeing them if anyone is interested. I know we kind of talked about next time. Well, hopefully next time. Um, like I'd be down to go again. Is basically what I was saying.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
definitely be down to see them live.
yeah,
Looked really fun from yours and Dane's videos.
yeah, yeah. They're a very good live act. And yeah, grew some new appreciation for a couple songs on Mercurial World a little bit too. Um,
Uh,
but yeah. But other than that, I didn't really do all too much this week. That was most of my week. Um, I played a lot of Arkham Asylum this week.
mm,
Beat that twice. um,
twice.
I'm a little bit of an achievement junkie. I like having
Uh,
those for you PlayStationers out there, the platinum trophies, But even just on Steam, having it's a completed game. And after I beat it on normal, I got the achievements for beat the game on easy, beat the game on normal. I'm
uh,
like, uh-oh. And sure enough, I had to beat it on hard as well. But it's a short
mm.
game, so it wasn't like anything too much. But have you played those Arkham games? I don't remember.
I've only played the last one. I only played Arkham Knight.
Gotcha. Yeah, Arkham Asylum was it was pretty good. It's one of those games that you could tell was like really influential on a whole bunch of stuff. Just like from the fighting mechanics to the stealth stuff to detective mode
Oh,
and all that kind of things. Um, very good atmosphere, very good set pieces. I do think it's a little more dated than a lot of people like to admit. um, a lot of the boss fights were not that great, honestly. But
yeah.
the actual fighting was fun, and like the story was good. Mark Hamill as Joker, that's always fun. Um,
Oh
but
yeah.
uh, but yeah, yeah, that was pretty good. And then I've started Arkham City a little bit now, which is cool. Arkham Asylum's all on like a little island, and then Arkham City, you're in like a city. So it's a big step up. Um,
Yeah, Arkham Knight was really fun when I
yeah,
played that. I think the reason I did play that was It might have been because of Dan from The Creatures. I think that I
Oh,
watched him play it, and I was like, I want to play that. That looks really fun.
yeah,
But
I was trying to remember because I also have Arkham Knight. That was in the trilogy that I bought earlier this year. That was like really cheap,
okay.
which is why I bought all three of them. Um,
Mhm.
and I was like, I know I watched someone play Arkham Knight, and I thought it was Seamus from The Creatures
Uh,
originally. But as I was looking into it, I was like, was it James from The Creatures, or X or Nova, or and then I was like, oh, you know what? I think I had a very brief phase where I was really into H2O Delirious from the Vanos crew. Uh,
oh, yeah.
and he did a playthrough of it. I was like, you know what? I bet you that's who I watched play. It was H2O Delirious. I'm like, dang, I forgot I had that face.
Wow.
but
Yeah.
yeah. But I'll get around to that at some point. I'm gonna finish City first. I don't know if I'm gonna 100% that one because I was looking at the achievements and it looks like if I was reading it correctly, I might have to beat the game like 4 times, and I'm like, I don't know about
Yeah.
that.
I know the ones for Arkham Knight are crazy because there's Riddler trophies that you have to
Yeah,
get insanely difficult for a lot of them. So
yeah. The Riddler
yeah,
trophies weren't too bad on Asylum, and I feel like in City, I can already tell they're a little worse. so,
yeah,
so worse in terms of prevalence, not in terms of being bad. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that's mostly what I did this week. Was kind of just that. Didn't really get to work on a lot of music, but I'm hoping to do some tomorrow because I'm gonna have the house to myself for a bit. Um,
Nice.
gonna yeah try and get some good work done on a song or two. We'll see. But yeah.
Watch any watch any more MCU with your mom this week or no?
No, we haven't watched any for a couple weeks. Might have to ask her if she wants to watch Captain America on Sunday or something. Um,
Mm.
but Yeah, yeah, no, haven't watched anything. I didn't listen to anything this week either. Just kind of coasting through.
Nothing
But
wrong with that.
yeah, nothing wrong with that. But there was some music news this week. Quite a bit of. I think my 2018 self would be very pleased at all three of these things that I have at least.
Yeah.
But for one, John Bellion,
Mm.
Mr. John Bellion, we haven't talked about him in a while, but he was our first artist analysis.
Yeah.
He's an artist that we really grew up with in our teen years, I would say. Um, he released I don't know if released a video is the proper way to put it. He like posted a link on Instagram and probably other places too, to like a little website that was playing a video like looping uh of him creating a new song, and within that video he was talking about how he was stuck in a contract for like 6 years, which is how long it's been since Glory Sound Prep, believe it or not. Um,
Wow.
yep. He's been stuck in a contract for that long. Um, that just like basically he didn't own any of the masters to his music. Real Taylor Swift situation there.
Uh-huh.
But he's out of that contract now, and the video was basically him teasing making this song, which I think it was Alive Again, or no, I'm a Kid Again, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and it was sounding good from those clips.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear whatever that is because we haven't had original John Bellion music since Glory Sound Prep. I don't think. Maybe
Well,
like,
we had that one song that I wasn't a big fan of.
oh yeah, I feel it or something like that. Which I didn't.
Yeah.
I like that one, but I completely got why you didn't. Um, but it's been it's been a little bit of a dry streak from John on a main stage level because he's been producing for like Jonas Brothers and Justin Bieber, all the
Mhm.
JBs out there. But yeah, yeah, all the JBs out there except for himself, John Bellion.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, I'm excited to hear whatever comes of that. Hopefully that comes out sometime soon.
Hope
Um,
so.
Hope so. We also had Half Alive. Half Alive, they dropped a song called Sophie's House. And
Yeah.
also news that they have a new album coming out November 15th called Persona, um, named after the video games, I'm sure.
Yes.
And yeah, the album cover is like two like little like Muppet looking things, kind of creepy. Uh, I kind of vibe with it, honestly.
Yeah, I like that album cover a
I
lot.
think it actually fits pretty well with their other two album covers, like just the weird
Yeah.
abstractness of it. Um, what do you think of the song, the Sophie's House?
I actually like it quite a bit. I listened to it a few times since it came out, and I was like, okay, yeah. It's not like I think I'm gonna like it more than a lot of the stuff on Conditions of a Punk.
Yeah,
But I don't think it's at the level of no, not yet. But I do think that it's a nice direction for them. I like the storytelling in it, and like it feels like he's talking about his past and like going to his friend Sophie's house and stuff like that. And I don't know. It sounds like half alive, and I like it. I think it's nice.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
completely fair. For me, I thought it was good too. I really liked how it had a bit of a groove to it. I liked the bass line on it a lot, and there's like a part in the bridge where the production gets cool and his vocals open up a little bit more. Um, I the way I put it on album of the year, I think I like how I put it. I feel like everything else about it is just like frustratingly fine. You know what I mean? Like it's good, like
Yeah.
it's all right. But like you were saying, it doesn't. It's not quite to that level of Now Not Yet, and it's just like I don't know. I I really want them to be at that level of quality again. You know.
Yeah.
But it's not like I think the song's bad or anything. I thought it was good for what it was. For a lead single, maybe slightly weak for me, but you know, I could also see it growing on me potentially. But that would have to depend on the context within the album and stuff. Um,
For sure.
but yeah, yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Do you have any more thoughts on that?
No, I'm just I'm interested in the album. You know that I think it's got like 11 tracks on it. So,
Oh, I didn't see that. That's good.
pretty sure it comes out the same day as Lincoln Park. Yeah, comes out the same day as Lincoln Park. So I have a
Ah.
couple on that day.
Well, 11
Uh,
tracks is much better than 18.
so true, so true.
um,
And it's not like split into two albums and then made into one album.
yeah, yeah, I think we can safely say that.
Yes.
And then the last piece of music news that I have, actually just news in general, is 21 Pilots. Were on the Tonight Show, as you can see in your profile
Yeah.
picture there. Um, he did the thing with the Clancy album cover.
Yeah.
Um, but they did Routines in the Night. It was a cool little performance. Had that red lighting like I was been referring to a couple times. Um, and you know, Josh was teleporting between drum kits, which was pretty cool. Um,
Oh,
I Yeah, some cool like movie magic stuff going on there, I feel like.
yeah.
And then I like the parts towards the end where he was going into the crowd and just
Yeah.
Jimmy, where are you? That or even him just singing those background vocals sounded really nice. I wish his voice was like a little higher in the mix that they had, because it was a lot of background vocal stuff. I felt like, but you know,
Was.
it was still a good performance, and he looked like he was having fun, especially at the end there. So
Oh yeah. I think that this song is gonna get a good amount of play
I
because of
hope.
that performance because it deserves it. I know Jimmy said it's like the highest selling rock album of the year,
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel like it. I don't know.
I felt Loki when he said that. I was like, I feel like you're slightly setting them up for failure by saying that, and then they go on to perform "Routines of the Night," which is probably one of the poppiest songs on the album.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it's okay.
Yeah, could have said like alternative or
Yeah,
something. Okay. Uh, but I thought that was a really cool performance as well.
yeah.
They didn't. I saw from like clicky Twitter that they were gonna be on there, but until like the day of, like earlier in the like early afternoon, they posted on the 21 Pilots account that they'd be on tonight or
Yeah.
last night. And it was like why isn't like Fueled by Ramen or anybody? why
I
why why?
I feel like they haven't like properly mentioned Fuel by Ramen in a long time now. Like
Yeah.
I feel like there's something going on there.
Well, it's just like it's weird because like Fueled by Ramen, they haven't promoted the tour at all.
Yeah,
They don't do anything, and it's like you're a producer. You're their
yeah.
label. You're supposed to be.
This is your cash cow nowadays.
Yeah,
It's
like
not Fall Out
you
Boy.
don't have Fall Out Boy. I mean, you have Fall Out Boy, but they're making okay music again.
Right.
But
I mean, 21
you,
Pilots is easily the biggest artist under their name right
oh yeah,
now. Right now.
Panic's gone. Like, yeah,
Paramore is
yeah.
great, but they're not that big.
Well, Paramore's not even with them. They're on their own now.
Oh,
Uh,
I didn't even know that.
Paramore's big though. I don't
They're big,
uh,
but they're not 21 Pilots big.
no, not anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a cool performance. I liked a lot of
Yeah.
it. I think so. I hope that they get radio play and stuff. But
Yo, this
uh,
sorry. Um but yeah.
another music thing. Saw that Lizzie McAlpine's releasing a deluxe version of
Oh,
Older. Uh,
you saw that before I did.
yeah, I haven't listened to Older, but she's releasing a deluxe called Older and Wiser on October 4th. So add another thing to that
Yeah, there's a
day.
few things coming up. That's a good album
Um,
though. You should listen to that. I think
I
it
know.
would fit. I think it would fit fall vibes pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, I know. I think you had us. Did you have a song from that album as
I
the song of the
did.
week?
I think I did All Falls Down from there.
Yeah, I remember liking that. I do like the stuff that I have heard from her,
Yeah.
but I just haven't looked into her yet.
She's kind of like the midpoint between a Phoebe Bridgers and a Clairo. I think is the best way to put it, especially on the new album. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's coming out October 4th. And any news? All I have written down is the Mickey 17 trailer.
I don't even know what that is. No, I don't have any news written down.
Mickey 17 is the next movie from Bong Joon-ho, who was the director of Parasite.
Yeah.
But it looks really good. I think it got delayed from this year to like January of next year, but it's got Robert Pattinson,
Oh,
Stephen Yeun, Toni Collette, and a couple other notable people. But it
that's a
looks
cool
really
cast.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson is like so good. I love that guy.
Yeah. Is it related at all to the mouse?
I don't believe so,
Yeah.
but
He's
maybe
in the
they
public
maybe
domain, so
he is. It's just a Steamboat Willie biopic or something.
yeah,
But
yeah. Starring Robert Pattinson and Stephen Yeun.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, but that was cool. I don't. I think JD Vance made a fool of himself this week at some
Mm.
points.
I think that happens most weeks, but
Yes, but he admitted on a CNN interview or NBC some news interview that he makes up stories like the dogs and cats
mm.
uh, things to get people on his side. This was what he basically said. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. We already knew he was doing that, but to hear confirmation is nice.
I'm not sure if you heard it. I sent a Vine boom because that was very shocking news
Oh,
that you sent
yeah,
or that you said. Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. um, but somebody tried to kill Trump again.
Oh yeah, that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some another crazy Republican man who
Mm.
voted for him at one point tried to kill him on a golf course, but didn't work. Not again. But you know, uh,
That would have been
wasn't
a
as big of a story as the first one.
yeah. That would have been a poetic place for him to go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he buried his wife in his ex-wife on an unmarked grave on a golf
Mm.
course. He
Mm.
could have died on that same one, but
No.
well,
Yep, that
We'll
definitely
see what
happened this
happens.
week.
We'll see what happens as we get closer.
Yeah,
How many times are people going to shoot at Trump before the election?
I'm surprised
Um,
it's taken this long for it to start happening.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Not condoning violence, but just
Yeah,
surprised that it's happened this late in the game.
yeah,
Uh, but uh, yeah, that's about all I have. If you want to hop into this bracket,
yeah, absolutely we can. So as Jimmy and I talked about earlier, we're gonna be doing a little movie bracket. We picked some of our favorite movies, and movies just good to talk about. Some that are in the popular culture zeitgeist or so. Colin's a little more versed in film stuff than I am. Like I do love the movies that I love, but I I don't branch out as much as I should sometimes. So you know, hoping to contribute what I can here, but you know. We don't talk about movies all too much on here, aside from when we're plugging your letterbox or when you're watching something. So, um, would be a good one to do.
for
Uh,
sure.
should be fun. Okay, here we go.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Oh, and we're doing
first
it. We're
off,
doing it bracket style.
yes, yes, bracket style. But first up, we got the Lion King classic CGI remake
Yeah,
uh, versus Bullet Train.
the Japanese
I, I
original film. Yeah,
I couldn't remember if you had seen Bullet
I
Train,
have
but
seen Bullet Train. Yeah.
perfect. All right. Well, you want to start off?
Yeah. I mean, for me, this it's a little bit of a clear one. Lion King's a classic. I mean, it's been a few years since I watched it, but when I did watch it recently, I remember thinking just like, damn, this is a really good movie. It's just nice and compact. I think it's like pretty short. It's like I think it's under an hour and a half. But a lot of memorable content in there, a lot of emotional content. It's a classic for a reason. Tells an encouraging story, and everything. And yeah, I mean, it's just a monument from its time. That I shouldn't even say from its time because I think it would still do very well for kids nowadays too. It's just a
Uh,
great film. Bullet Train, I did talk about this on the pod when I watched it, and maybe you'll remember this as I'm saying it. But I think the movie starts out really good. I really like all the characters in it for sure. Brad Pitt is hilarious as hell throughout the entire thing. I love his whole bit of being super lucky,
um,
or no, being super unlucky. That's right. Um, and that whole thing is great. The cameos are awesome in there. I think it's filmed pretty well. For me, I do think it got a little too ridiculous towards the end of it. I think it got a little over the top for me, even though it was always a bit over the top. It like I don't know. It like went completely past the realm of uh believability, I guess. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it slightly took me out, just like how over the top it got towards the big climax of it. So like I do think about that a little bit with the film. So for me, I would go Lion King here because I think it's like perfect. But I do like Bullet Train a lot, except for some of the ending stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I grew up a Disney kid, so
Mm.
I have a lot of love for the Lion King. It was never it was always one that I really loved, but it wasn't like up there with my favorites with like Hercules or Tarzan. I was, but don't get me wrong, love the Lion King, love
Mm.
rest in peace James Earl Jones.
Yes.
But the music's great, the animation's still fantastic to this day. Timon and Pumbaa,
Mm.
love those guys.
Timon and Pumbaa are really just like lemon and tangerine in a
They
different
really are.
different font.
Yeah, you're so right. Uh, fucking Matthew Broderick as a Simba.
That's right.
Love that guy.
Before he killed someone, I
Um,
think.
that's the, was it?
I don't
I don't
know.
know. Uh, um, but yeah. But Bullet Train, I really, really love that one. I know it gets silly towards the end, but really it's just silly the whole time, and I think that's the reason that I really vibe with it and love it. I think it's like a great. It's one of my favorite comedies in recent years. Honestly, I
Yeah.
haven't. I don't really go out of my way to watch comedies a lot of the time, but after seeing the trailer for this one like a billion times before it came out, I was like, you know what, I'll go see it. And I was in an empty theater, I think, when I went to see it, and it was a nice experience just to laugh alone.
Fair.
Um, it was good. I really love it. I haven't watched it in a little while, but I do love that movie. But I feel like it'd be an injustice to Lion King to pick Bullet Train over it, so I'll
Okay.
go with the Lion King.
All right. Lion King moves on.
Yes, sir. All right. Okay. Why? Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
All right. Next up, Interstellar versus Across the Spider Verse.
See, now this is where I get to out myself a little bit. Um,
Mm.
I have not seen Interstellar in
Oh, I
in
thought you had.
full. Nah, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I know generally what the plot is. I know the visuals are very good. But I
Mhm.
have yet to just sit down and straight up watch this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
um,
Well, I mean, up until last year, I hadn't seen it. So.
okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and talk about them since you've seen
All right.
both of them.
Well, both of these movies are visually stunning. Um, one because of the crazy fucking CGI effects, and one because of all the extremely talented animators. Um, but you know, I had heard how good of a movie Interstellar was for years and years and years, and then last year I finally decided to sit down and watch it because I think it is like a 3 hour movie
Yeah, it's
or
a long
close.
one.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it, and I love it. I think it's really fucking great. Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, um, I think Jessica Chastain and Ben Affleck's brother are in it as well. But it's a really really great cast, really great story. All the visual effects, the sound design, and the score are fantastic in it.
Mm.
But Across the Spider Verse, I don't know, man. That is one of my favorite movies to come out in the past few years. I think that the animation is so much. It's just so fucking great, and some of the best that has happened ever. I think the blending of all the different animation styles, the story, and the soundtrack as well. From I think Metro Boomin did it.
I think he did parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah. He well, yeah. Other than like the score, like he
Yeah,
did
yeah.
the movie soundtrack, like the pop songs and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, just and all the voice acting, fantastic. It's really funny. It's really touching, um, and it really leads super well into the third. I think it's better than the first in like every way, and I love the first. I think the first one is almost perfect, but this one is Across the Spider Verse is honestly a perfect movie to me. So I love Interstellar. I think it's fantastic. I think I need to watch it again. But Across the Spider Verse, just on first watch, was like fucking amazing to me. So I'm gonna go with that one. But,
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to cop out here, but like basically you said everything I was thinking with Cross the Spider-Verse. Like if it was Interstellar versus something I wasn't as passionate about, maybe I would have allowed Interstellar to go on, but Across the Spider-Verse is like you were saying, it's just monumental. It's an achievement. Kind of like a some people saying, I mean, they were saying this about Dune too as well, but it's kind of like Empire Strikes Back of our time a little bit, just the perfect middle point of a trilogy. Um, and yeah, I think it's fantastic. Visually stunning movie, very, engaging story throughout. Maybe not the most unique plot out there, but it's being told in a really good way with really great characters, great motivations. Um, so yeah, I mean, just the set pieces and everything. Yeah, it's Across the Spider Verse for me, but that's just because I haven't seen Interstellar.
it's all good.
Yeah.
You should definitely watch that one.
What was that?
You should definitely watch that one at some point. Though, really, really good.
Yeah, it's on the list.
For sure. All right. But next up, we got Whiplash versus The Truman Show.
Mm. I'm not sure if you saw it. I'm thinking of it right now. But I saw I saw a TikTok meme of they edited um, Whiplash and then that scene from Fantastic Four where
Oh yeah, I did see
Miles Teller Miles Teller at the end of that or whatever. It's like, all right, gang, Whiplash. He's like, say that again. That was so good. Anyways, yeah, I mean Whiplash is it's great. It's a really good movie. Has fantastic characters in it, and just a great character study. I think between both Neiman and Fletcher, Neiman and Fletcher. I think both of them are really well explored characters with great dynamics between each other. No pun intended. And the whole thing's about music, so should appeal to me in that way. I think it does well with the music stuff. I think it could have done a little bit better with some things. Like it's a lot of it is serving the plot in a lot of ways, which is fine. But you know, I think it tells a really great story with great characters. A lot of cool like themes of obsession and prodigy status and stuff like that in there that are explored really well. Um,
Mhm.
Honestly, though, I have a really big soft spot for Truman Show. I think it's just the whole concept of it and how it's executed. Jim Carrey at the helm, doing pretty much a serious role. I mean, there's some comedic moments in there, but um, I think just the way it's told and the way that things are revealed to the audience and how it's filmed and all the little things about it are just like so special. I think it tells a really um, human story in that way, and I like a lot of just the creativity and aspects that go into it, into the world building of them building a world, like literally. And Yeah, I just the ending of it is phenomenal as well.
Yeah.
I just really love the Truman Show. Honestly, it's one of my favorite movies. It's just I've seen it a few times now, and every time I watch it, I'm like, there's like new things to pick up on. It's just new, like it's just engaging the whole time. I don't know. I like it a lot. So I would actually probably go Truman Show here, me personally.
Mm. Yeah, I have only seen the Truman Show one time, but I do remember really loving it. I love Jim Carrey and like everything
Yeah.
though, so like it's kind of hard to beat his performances. But yeah, it's a great story. I know that Tyler from 21 Pilots loves the Truman Show as well, and
Oh yeah.
gets a lot of he has a lot of inspiration from that for storytelling and stuff. But um, I love it. I think it's really good. I definitely need to watch it again. But I've seen Whiplash like a good few times, and I think that J.K. Simmons' performance is so fucking good. I think that uh, it's the best performance I've seen him uh, do in any movie that I've seen him in.
Yeah.
I love J. Jonah Jameson, of course, but
Hmm.
uh, I think that his his presence, his anger throughout the entire thing, uh, it's so engaging and so like infuriating, but you just can't take your eyes away. It's like a car crash,
Yeah.
like the one that Fletcher gets into. But
Exactly. Don't you
but
mean even?
Neiman,
Yeah.
not Fletcher. But yeah, I love the Truman Show, and I need to watch it again. But since I've seen Whiplash more, I think I'm gonna go with that one.
That's completely fair. Also, I should shout out that I think first time I watched Whiplash was with you and Vince. Pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think didn't the three of us watch that in the apartment?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was my first time watching that. Pretty sure. So
Huh.
shout out
Mm.
that. But all right, we got a little disagreement here. What happens when we do this is we will verbally scream over each other until someone wins. No, we do we do a little verbal game of rock paper scissors. And whoever wins this round has their pick go through, and then for each um, se- sequential, yeah, for each
Yeah.
sequential disagreement, um, the other person gets the theirs to go through. So we switch on and off between each disagreement. But we have to settle this first one first. So I will say rock paper scissors and shoot. and then after shoot, we will say one of those three. Okay. Um, all right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, rock. What'd you say?
Paper.
Okay, thanks for being honest. Could pull a Squid Game there. All right, so Whiplash moves on.
I don't understand that, but
Oh yeah, that's right. You haven't seen Squid Game.
season two
um,
of Squid Game. The trailer came out this week as well.
mm,
Um, didn't watch it, but you know
yeah.
that some people. Next up, yes, Nobody versus Pearl.
Mm,
Interesting matchup.
it really
Uh,
is.
uh, I haven't watched either of these movies in a good bit, but I wanted to include them just
Hmm.
because I know that we both have seen them, and I know that we both like them to an extent, at least. So,
Yeah.
um, but Nobody, if you don't know, is like the Bob Odenkirk John Wick movie. Uh, he plays like a middle aged dude that you know it was a experienced hitman or something in the past, and uh, something happens in the movie that brings him back into that life, and he does a really good job. Um, I think I really love the action in it. I think that all the acting is really good from what I remember, and we got a cool Ted Nivison video out of it, so that was
That's right. Yeah.
that was cool. I think the second one's coming out sometime soon, so that'll be
Ooh, I
cool.
didn't know there was a second one made.
Yes, but Christopher Lloyd makes a appearance in there as well,
Yeah.
and that was good to see that guy. But Pearl, I haven't watched it in a good bit. Well, not a good bit since like last year, but um, I do like it. I think it's probably Mia Goth's best performance in that trilogy, and I think the story is really well done. I think since I've had time to like settle with Maxine, I do think that Pearl is a bit better, um, but I still like the third one more than others. I think, but
Hmm.
yeah, I think that Pearl's really cool. I like the time period and all the storytelling that's done within it, and also, like I said, Mia Goth is great. But I don't know. I think just aesthetically, I'm leaning towards Pearl. But what do you think?
Pearl's definitely the fresher one in my mind because I'm pretty sure I watched both that and X this year. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that had to have been this year. Um, and I Pearl's definitely my favorite of those three movies. I really like the character study that goes into it. A lot of just, you know, humanizing a complete sociopath, psychopath, whatever she would be considered as. Um, I think it has a lot of striking imagery for something that has such a Wizard of Oz type of feel to it. I think like
Yeah.
that contrast in feels is really like maybe it's not unique, but I think it's uniquely done in that movie. Like it's done very well. And it makes for some just like truly disturbing moments, honestly. And then you could forget that whole like one shot monologue towards the end of it too. That's
Oh,
just like absolutely insane. Um, but as much as I really like it, I think nobody, even though it's been a long time since I've seen it, I think more of that movie sticks out to me just like I don't know, it feels iconic to me in some ways, even though people don't talk about it like I guess all too much. Like I could
mhm.
still I haven't seen that movie since like it was released pretty much, and I still remember a whole bunch of scenes and set pieces from it. I remember the whole like plot pretty much, and Bob Odenkirk just does really well, and it was just a really fun movie throughout the entire thing. Um,
Mhm.
and honestly, I think for that reason alone, I might go with Nobody. I think it's just maybe a little bit more memorable for me, even though Pearl has done like very well in my eyes. Um, but it's kind of a close one for me. But I think I'm leaning Nobody, me personally.
All right, cool. That's fine.
All right.
I'm cool with that. Nobody moving on.
Is that winning a tiebreaker, or is that an agreement?
Uh, no, it's a tiebreaker.
Okay. All right. Just to be clear, that's cool. That's cool.
All right.
Oh, oh no.
For two movies about magic, we got The Prestige and Deathly Hallows Part 2, the finale to the Harry Potter series.
Damn, this is kind of fucked up. Um, Prestige is one that I watched last year, maybe the year before. Actually, it must have been probably the year before because I think I watched it on Vince's legal movie service.
Yeah.
And um, it's really good. I mean, like I really love the twists and turns throughout it. The whole competitive nature to it is really engaging. Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman do amazing throughout the whole thing. And what was that? Oh, sorry. I thought you were whispering to me. And and it was yeah, just really engaging plots. Christopher Nolan is a very good writer for sure and very good conceptual. However, Deathly Hollows Part 2, I mean, that's the culmination of a gigantic story that is honestly a huge part of my childhood and my
Yeah.
upbringing, even just the Harry Potter stuff. And this came out in 2011. And I remember seeing it in theaters for my 10th birthday, it must have been. And it did scar me a little bit. I'm not sure. I think I've mentioned this to you. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that on pod before. But there's a few snake scenes in this movie, and I'm pretty sure we saw it in like 3D IMAX. And little 10-year-old me, some of those snakes jumping at the screen were a little much for me. And even to this day, I don't really like snakes. I can't get down with snakes. I don't see them as cute. Um, but
Get the shit out somewhere.
yeah, exactly. But nevertheless, I think it's like a really, really great conclusion. I mean, obviously, it's based off the books by She Who Shall Not Be Named. But it's a really great ending to the series. I think they filmed pretty much everything really well. There's some cut things that I wish were put in the movie, but that's just because I'm a big nerd about it. But I think it's just yeah, like I said, I think he's just done extraordinarily well. And it's probably my favorite in the series, like at least in terms of overall package. I think it's my favorite in the series, which is why I chose it for this list. But even though The Prestige is really great, and I think it tells an amazing story and is probably objectively a better movie, I think for me, I would choose Deathly Hollows over it. So I'm going to.
Mm. Yeah, I think I might have watched The Prestige because of you, maybe. I think you mentioned it, and I finally pulled the trigger on watching it after hearing a lot of good things
Could be.
about it.
I'm pretty sure I watched it
Uh,
because of Dane, so this is a chain starting with Dane.
Jane Chain.
Dane chain.
But uh, I it had to have been a couple years ago at this point, yeah. But the I do remember really, really loving it. Christopher Nolan. Ooh, sorry. Christopher Nolan, hot take, one of my favorite directors. But I think that he's amazing at storytelling. I think that Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman put on some of their best performances, and it's a fantastic story with like a really cool twist and everything. But the and also the David Bowie cameo is
That's
great as
right.
well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harry Potter also played a huge part in my childhood as well. I don't think I ever saw a Harry Potter movie in theaters, unfortunately,
Oh, really?
but I do remember waiting for the midnight release of the Deathly Hollows book at the mall
Mm.
when that was coming out, when there was a bookstore in the mall all those years ago. Um, and I remember me, my older brother, and my dad waiting for that book to come out, and we were just sitting outside, well, sitting inside the mall waiting for it to release. And we got little wands that made like this like whooshy magic sound that we had for years and years.
That's awesome.
Um, and that's a big memory of mine growing up. But I remember watching Deathly Hollows Part 2 before going to like it was like an event for middle school, I want to say. Uh, but prior to starting middle school. And it was just like a nice movie night.
Sounds like the right timing, yeah.
Yeah, and I I love the Harry Potter series. Despite the person who created it, it is fantastic, amazing storytelling, and some of my favorite memories growing up. Playing Harry Potter,
Oh yeah.
whether it's the Lego games or like I had a Half Blood Prince like movie tie-in game on the
Oh,
Wii that I played.
I'm surprised we
Uh,
haven't talked about this before, but I've played all, maybe not all of them, but most of those movie tie-in games. I loved those as a kid.
they were great. They're always
Yeah.
such fun time. I was Harry Potter one year for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great picture of me where I look like Sloth from the Goonies.
Mm-hmm. I
Because
was.
my teeth are missing, and
Oh.
and I just look like a monster. But I remember having those glasses and reenacting the opening scene of the second movie because
Mm.
I love those movies. Deathly Hallows Part Two is a fantastic ending to the series. Um, and it's super sad, but it's such a good tie up. And I love the Prestige. I need to watch it again. Uh, but yeah, Deathly Hallows Part Two, I think, walked with it here.
Sick. And it's okay that you have an embarrassing Harry Potter costume because I got made fun of a lot for my Ron Weasley costume, which is basically
Yeah.
just dyeing my hair orange.
Prior to the Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, dyeing my hair like a true liberal.
but yeah, up next, we got Dune Part 2 versus Revenge of the Sith.
A lot of the franchises coming in early here.
Oh, yeah. Um, Dune Part 2, still my favorite movie that I've seen this year. I think it's so fucking good. The visuals are fantastic. Denis Villeneuve, however you say his name, one of my favorite directors as well. Um, I think that uh, he was the perfect person to do these Dune movies. The second one is better than the first in every way. It's more engaging. It's more action packed. The story is a lot more entertaining. And I love the first one, but yeah, the second one is just so fucking good. I think it's my favorite thing I've seen Timothy Chalamet in. I think Austin Butler does a great job as well. But it's really fucking good. Uh, Revenge of the Sith, though. Revenge of the Sith, though. Um, it is my favorite Star Wars movie. I
I
I
took a
love it.
slight risk picking this one. I wasn't sure if that would be controversial choosing this one, but
This this is my favorite Star Wars movie. I think it's the best one. It's uh, I love I love the original trilogy. I think it's fantastic. But I grew up with the prequel trilogy, and Revenge of the Sith is like the first one in that trilogy that I was able to like create memories with.
mm,
Uh, so the fight on Mustafar with Obi-Wan and Anakin turning to the dark side, all of that stuff. It's so fucking good throughout the entire thing. I love it. The entire first portion where they're saving Palpatine from Dooku
mm.
and everything. God, it's just I don't know. There's something about it that I absolutely love, and it's just so fucking good.
Absolute
Uh,
cinema, some might say.
yes, some might,
Hmm.
uh, but this one's kind of hard for me. I'd like to hear your thoughts before I make my decision.
Yeah, I mean, Doom Part Two, another one. Shout out. I'm pretty sure you, John, and I watched this, right? Um, yeah, yeah. I should remember that more clearly. That was earlier this year. Jeez. But but yes, we watched that, and it was very good. Very good theater experience for sure. Um, and movie was fantastic too. I mean, all the things you were saying, the visuals, and I like the story a lot in it too. I kind of like how it delves pretty like maturely into themes of religion and leadership even. I think it has some really fascinating themes going for it there. But then just like the big climax of it and just the world itself, similar to I guess across the Spider Verse in that way, just like the way it expands within this movie, and shows so much potential for future sequels, I think is just monumental. It's really great. And even though for Deathly Hollows, I felt like strongly that even though Prestige is probably a better movie, that I would do that one. Revenge of the Sith is amazing. It's probably my favorite as well. I need to rewatch the original trilogy. It's been a long time since I've seen it, honestly. Um,
Mhm.
uh, I think the story is really great. All the set pieces are really great, but it still does have the prequel acting in it.
Right.
The prequel kind of cheesy visuals sometimes too, the CGI and stuff.
Oh
Um, it's got
yeah.
those which it does add a lot of character, like genuinely. And it's part of the appeal of those films for sure. Um, I think those things I don't think I can in good faith put those above Doom Part 2 because I feel like
Yeah.
Doom Part 2 is just like so meticulously crafted, and it is like honestly the big parts of Doom Part 2 I think are just as good as the big parts of Revenge of the Sith. I would say at least.
Yeah.
So I would go Doom Part 2 here, me personally, but I respect whatever you choose.
Yeah. No, I do have major nostalgia goggles for Revenge of the Sith,
So do
but
I. Yeah.
uh, and also Star Wars is right up there with Harry Potter with being influential to my childhood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Uh, the visuals of Dune Part Two are so fucking good, and everything about that movie is so fucking good. So yeah, I will also go Dune.
All right.
But I love your Revenge of the Sith.
I love you too, Revenge of the Sith.
But next, we got The Incredibles versus Spider-Man: No Way Home.
um. So
Have you?
I'm not sure if I've seen either of these movies.
Oh,
I may have seen The Incredibles, but I was very young. uh,
okay.
I do know plot points of both of these. Wait, is No Way Home? I guess spoiler alert for the new Spider-Man trilogy. If you've been under a rock, is No Way Home the one with all three of them coming back?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I know plot. Yeah, I know plot points of each of them. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Colin.
All right, I thought somebody had dragged you to see No Way Home at some point, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I love both of these movies. I think The Incredibles is my favorite Pixar movie. I also have good memories of. I got the movie tie-in game on the PS2 for The Incredibles for Easter one year. Um, uh, but I love The Incredibles. The music is fantastic. If I think Michael Giacchino did the music for it.
I believe so. Yeah.
So fantastic, of course. Um, it's like kind of a mature Pixar movie, and I love it. I think it's the one of the best stories that they've done. But Spider-Man: No Way Home, Spider-Man was a big part of my childhood. Grew up with those Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, so getting to see him on the big screen again. Spoiler alert, with with Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. Spoiler
Spoiler
was
alert: Tom Holland's in this one.
yes. Um, it was an amazing theater experience. I went to see this one. I think the night it came out, and getting to experience the just everyone seeing Andrew Garfield pop out of that portal, and then Tobey Maguire, and everyone going,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so fucking good. I love. While I hate bad theater etiquette, when there's those big like holy shit whoa moments. I love hearing theater reactions, and Spider-Man: No Way Home is no exception. I love it, but Hmm.
You gotta be careful saying that kind of stuff with my profile picture because I'm just gonna call you a circus ride or whatever, amusement park
Yeah.
ride.
I mean, they're both superhero movies, so
They are,
suck it,
yeah.
Mark. But uh,
That's why I
uh,
haven't seen them. Two amusement park rides. You know, I mean, I need the top echelon stuff, right?
yes, like Deathly Hallows Part Two. Um,
Exactly.
but hmm, I think I'm gonna go Incredibles here. I do love No Way Home, but I think Incredibles is a better movie overall.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All
There we
right.
go.
Okay. Up next.
Did you see that? Uh, oh, this one's good too.
I didn't see what you
Oh,
saw, but
okay.
uh, so we got Everything Everywhere All at Once versus The Room.
The Room. So again, I'm not sure how much we mentioned this on the podcast. Well, at least me. The Room, notorious, so bad that it's good movie. You know, oh hi Mark. I did not hit her. I did not. You know that Tommy
Tearing
Wiseau.
me apart, Lisa.
Exactly. It's this movie is literally just like endlessly quotable. I honestly, I think of all the movies on this list, it may have been the one I've seen the most. Honestly, maybe
Yeah.
Deathly Hallows probably might be a little might rival it a bit.
Mhm.
But I've seen The Room with so many different friend groups just because I think it's so funny. It's so great to just watch and feed off, your friends. Um, it's I think it's like the epitome of so bad it's good.
Yes.
But you know, it is, part of that is it's so bad. I probably would have chosen it over a few movies to be honest, but Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably my favorite movie of the last few years. My favorite movie of the decade, I would say. Basically everything I've been saying about other movies, just the creativity of this movie, the filming, the acting is phenomenal. The characters are really great. I love the story that it tells. I just really think it's a perfectly unique movie that just tells like a clear message, but done in such a creative fashion. And it's just, perfectly weird, but like, never going too weird, I guess. Maybe in a few parts, but it's fine because that's the whole vibe of the movie. I think it's just like I don't know. It's one of the most creative movies and like awe-inspiring movies I think I've ever seen. So for
Mhm.
me, I have to go Everything Ever All at Once here.
Yeah, I have basically the same thoughts on both of these as you do. I think The Room is so it's just so much fun um, when you're not cringing, and even when
Yeah.
you are cringing. But it's just uh, it's so good, and the fucking the disaster artist is
Oh yes.
awesome as well. But yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once is like it's such a feat, and I think I'm so glad that it was the thing that brought Ki Hui Kwan back to
Hmm.
acting because
Hmm.
I've loved seeing him in things the last couple of years because of it. Um, I think that every performance is so fucking good. I do not think that Jamie Lee Curtis deserved the Oscar for it,
Yeah.
but um, I do love that Ki Hui Kwan, Michelle Yeoh, and the movie in general got all those Oscars because it definitely deserved them. It is one of the best movies of the decade, up there with my favorites. Might still be my favorite of the decade thus far as well, but it is really, really fucking good. And if you haven't seen this one yet, I don't know why you haven't, but go check it out
Yeah.
because it is really fucking good. So yeah, Everything Everywhere. Me done.
Hell yes.
All right. Up next, we got Inglorious Bastards versus Knives Out.
Ooh,
This is a good matchup.
this is a good matchup. I feel like I'm trying to articulate why these movies feel similar to me, but I'm not sure why. But I guess they have a similar tone a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I like Knives Out a lot. I mean, first off, it's named after a Radiohead song, so props there.
So,
Shout out Amnesiac, one of my least favorite Radiohead albums that I still love. But you know, Daniel Craig in it is amazing. I mean, everyone in that movie is amazing. It's a ensemble cast. Is that what that's called, right? And there's a whole
yeah.
bunch of them. It's a giant ensemble cast with so many familiar faces, but they all play their parts like so well. Ryan Johnson does amazing with the directing and the writing. It's a murder mystery who done it kind of in the best Ryan Johnson ways. It's a kind of the genre, and I think it's just so creative and fun. And you know, I maybe my favorite franchise that's going on at this point because I like this and Glass Onion both a lot. So there's that, and I would choose it over a lot of things, but Inglorious Bastards I think is uh like just one of my favorite movies. Period. um, I it's I'm pretty sure it's my favorite Tarantino movie. This one and Django are very close, but I just love the tension in this story. Uh, Christoph Waltz as Hans Landa is phenomenal here. I think his performance is so good. And uh, Brad Pitt in here again is great. Everyone does great. I love all the little stories that it tells and how it fits into this setting of World War II, Nazi Germany and stuff, and how appropriately it handles a lot of the content of it. I would say. I think just almost every scene is just like memorable as hell. Like it's like there's so much in this movie that's just like so good. The basement scene, the opening scene, the scene in the theater, even
Yeah.
the scenes before the theater where they're putting on their fake accents. Grazie,
Yeah.
buongiorno. It's so
Yes.
good. This is another movie that's just like endlessly quotable too, which I think all good Tarantino projects should be. But yeah, I like Knives Out. Actually, I would say I love Knives Out. I think it's a really great movie. But Inglorious Bastards is like top tier for me. So I
Hmm.
would go with
Yeah,
that one.
yeah, I haven't seen Inglorious Bastards in a good amount of years at this point. I do think it is one of my favorite Tarantino's.
Sounds like a
But
pizza brand when you say it like that. My
I
favorite Tarantino's.
love his pizza rolls. But yeah, uh, it is really good. All the performances are great. That one scene with Michael Fassbender in the bar is
Yes.
so good and suspenseful and everything. Um, it's very funny. The serious moments are super fucking great. Christoph Waltz, like you said, one of my favorite performances from a villain character in a movie. Um, but I don't know. Knives Out, since I saw it, has been one of my favorite movies. Uh, the ensemble cast is so fucking good. Daniel Craig with that that Louisianan New Orleans accent
Hmm.
is just it's infectious and it's so good. And I could watch so many of those, and I hope that they make so many of those because I really loved the last couple, and I'm excited for the third one coming out. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I love uh, Chris Evans as the well, I don't know, spoilers. Knives Out. He's the mean one. He's the bad guy.
He's the meanie.
Um, getting to see him as a villain after seeing him for as Captain America for so many years was super cool as well. But Ryan Johnson is also one of my favorite directors, and I don't know, Knives Out is just so good. And I haven't seen Glorious Bastards in a long time or enough, so I'm gonna go Knives Out here. But
That's okay.
Glorious
You
Bastards,
win the matchup. So
sorry about it.
that's okay. It was a battle of some of our favorite movies, so someone has to fall out there. Look at
All
this now.
right. Next, we got Hamilton versus Prisoner of Azkaban.
You can go first on this one.
All right. Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite Harry Potter. It was between this one and Goblet of Fire, but this one beat it out. I think that Lupin and Sirius are some of my favorite characters in the Harry Potter world, and I think that their introductions are fantastic in this movie. The twists and turns throughout this entire thing, the directing is probably the best in the entire series, in my opinion. Um, and I just like how dark it is throughout the entire thing. Um, but yeah, it's just I haven't seen it in a while, but I can probably uh, list off all the major plot points throughout the entire thing because I don't know, it's just super good. I love it. Also, the introduction to Bellatrix was great in this one as well.
Mm.
Uh, but Hamilton, I I think it's great. I think that Lin Manuel is a little cringy as like a person, but I think he did a great job at creating this musical. It's not without its faults and its like weird moments throughout, but the way that he was able to bring rap and hip hop into the onto Broadway and make it as big as it was is an amazing feat. I think the performances throughout it are fantastic. David Diggs, um, as Thomas Jefferson, for example,
And
great.
Lafayette.
And Lafayette, yes. The guy who plays George Washington, I don't know his name
Yeah.
off rip, but he's fantastic, and also Aaron Burr. Um,
Sir.
but all fantastic performances. I think that it's an amazing feat in theater and storytelling to make a person that nobody really looked into uh, prior to this musical into such a phenomenon is so cool to see. But I don't know. I think that Hamilton's something you can only watch like once every couple of years, but I could watch Prisoner of Azkaban a lot, so I'm gonna go with that one to it. But I do like both a lot.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about Deathly Hallows Part 2, I specifically made a comment saying that I think it's the best movie in terms of everything coming together and like just like the best full package of a movie. But I particularly said that because this is, definitely the best directed Harry Potter movie for sure, and
Mhm.
arguably best written up there as well. I think it's Alfonso Cuarón did this, and
Yeah,
he just like gave it such a like a mature touch in a good way, not like a all of a sudden these kids are ripping heads off or something, but like it's just like I think it perfectly encapsulates that like weird space in between puberty, I guess, in some ways, with just like the little bit of darkness, but not quite teenage angst, but like also kind of teenage angst. I don't know. Like he represents that whole era very well with the characters, and like the story's great. The visuals are phenomenal throughout the whole thing. Um, Definitely probably one of the most immersive Harry Potter movies, I would say, in terms of being inside the world and everything. Um, and yeah, it's great. It's a great movie. Yeah, and Hamilton I threw in here. I made this comment to Dane's girlfriend because we're on the topic of Hamilton on the car ride up there for some reason. And I think she was saying something about like I just can't stand Lin Manuel Miranda, and I was like, I completely get it. I think he hit like he got like one chance with Hamilton. Like he gets one shot, no pun intended.
uh,
And then after that, it's complete cringe fest. But like it works for
but
Hamilton for some reason. We give him that one time, and I don't know, like you were saying, like it's telling American history in a really engaging way. I think all the music is extremely memorable. The characters are really well done and acted. Um, uh, I'm forgetting his name right now, but the person who does Aaron Burr, who I was going to shout out, Leslie Odom Jr. He does,
yes,
yeah, he does fantastic in that show. And performance on Disney Plus is fantastic from him too. It's really fun. It tells a great story. It has great characters. And Lin-Manuel Miranda, while he might not be the greatest singer or actor in the world, I think he strangely fits as the role of Hamilton. Like it works for that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. This one's kind of a hard one for me, honestly. I feel like I like these projects both the same. Honestly, one of your sentences you said at the end there, which is like, Hamilton's oh, excuse me, something you can watch a couple times a year, or sorry, every couple of years. Well, meanwhile, Harry Potter's a lot more rewatchable, and I guess arguably more memorable too. Yeah, I think that resonated with me a bit, so I think I'm slightly swayed towards Prisoner of Azkaban here. All right.
Shout out to him. Great, great musical there.
It is great. Yeah, don't undermine that. It can be a point of contention sometimes.
Ooh, this one's gonna be hard. Up next we got Prisoners versus Oppenheimer.
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, I for me, Oppenheimer. I've said this a few times. I don't remember if I've said it on pod. It's definitely a film that I need to watch again, and that it's in dire need of another watching from me. I only saw it the first time in theaters, which was a great theater experience, but it wasn't exactly marketed as like the character drama. I get like it was in some ways and it wasn't other ways, but
Mhm.
like I guess I wasn't necessarily prepared for how deep of a character study the movie was going to be, and we watched it I think at like an 11 p.m. showing, maybe even later. So it was very late at night when I watched this movie, and the last bit of it was a little hard for me to follow, just on
Yeah.
initial watch. So it's one that I do want to revisit for that reason because I felt like the pacing was a little off in my first view of it, but I feel like that's something that could totally be fixed in my second viewing of it. Um, However, I have seen Prisoners a few couple times now, and I like watching reactions because I'm a little nerd. I've watched reactions of the movie as well, and I think Prisoners is like a phenomenal film. I think it might have been a combination of you and Dane telling me to watch this, but I remember when I watched this and I told you about it, you're like, "Oh, that's a good movie," um,
Yeah.
and it was a good movie. It's very dark, very bleak, but like I think it tells a really engaging story again. And Hugh Jackman is just absolutely phenomenal in this movie. Like
Mhm.
probably some of the best acting I've seen. Period comes from Hugh Jackman in this movie. I think the emotional turmoil his character goes through throughout this entire thing is so good, and Jake Gyllenhaal does fantastic to work off of that.
Mhm.
I think it's a bit of a dark and twisted movie. Like it's not like it's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen, but I think the realism of the movie mixed in with the disturbing scenes makes it just kind of like whoa. It feels like really grounded in a dark way and like kind of in a way that I haven't really seen a movie be before, like realistic and kind of disturbing at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Paul Dano gets fucked up in this movie again.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
um, but it's really good, and it's honestly a movie that I love. Just it's one of those that you just keep thinking about after it's over. And Oppenheimer's like that to an extent too, especially with how it closes out the film. But I
Mhm.
think honestly, I think Prisoners has left more of an impact on me than Oppenheimer has, and I think I watched them probably similar-ish times. So I would go
Mhm.
Prisoners here, me personally.
Yeah. I think I benefited from viewing Oppenheimer twice in 2 days in theaters when it came out.
I could see
I
that.
watched
Yeah,
I watched it with my family, and then I watched it with John the day after. And I really loved it the first time around, but the second time around, I was able to, circle back and get things that I wasn't able to like follow the first time as well. Um, but I love it's another it's another ensemble cast with absolutely fantastic performances all around. Killian Murphy Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, all really, really fucking good. Roderick as well, but
Yes,
you know, and Huey, but
and
you know,
Huey,
it's
and Josh from Drake and Josh. Yeah.
yes, but it's just so fucking good. It's a great character study um, about somebody I don't think got a lot of. I mean, obviously he's talked about in history and how and everything, but before Oppenheimer, I didn't really know who the guy was. So it was just really interesting to see what he was able to create and his effect on the world since is just like crazy. Um, but Christopher Nolan does another fantastic fucking job here. The set pieces are all fantastic. The atomic bomb explosion, one of my favorite scenes in history, in my history of movie viewing.
Mm.
And it's probably tied for first for my favorite of the decade with Everything Everywhere at this point. But movie also got me back into reading for a little while
That's true.
with American Prometheus. So I have that to thank it for as well. But Prisoners, yeah, Prisoners is one of my favorite movies just in general. I love the realism. I love the just how much stress and anxiety and just like terror is in this on like a real level. Uh, just like from a parent losing their child and like not, you know, doing everything he can possibly fucking do to get her back
Yeah.
is like it's a terrifying reality that like it happens to people, maybe not to the extent that uh it goes in this movie, but Hugh Jackman does a fantastic fucking job. And Jake Gyllenhaal, one of my favorite actors. I love him in everything I've seen him in.
Hmm.
And yeah, just Paul Dano as well, getting the shit beat out of him, but he does a good job
Yeah.
of playing the character he's playing. Another Denis movie, so it's
Oh,
just
I didn't even connect those two. This and Dune.
yeah,
Yeah.
very, very, very different.
Yes, they
But
are.
yeah, I absolutely love both these movies, but Prisoners is just like every I agree with everything you said about it. I think it's just so fucking good and so scary just on a real level, which
Yeah.
is like something you don't get in many movies, I don't think. So yeah, I'm gonna go Prisoners here too, but Oppenheimer, so fucking good.
Yeah. Huge shout out Oppenheimer.
Alrighty. And up next in this up. Okay, why is it doing that? All right, and last up in this first round, we got Infinity War versus the Batman.
Speaking of Paul Dano getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
You can go first on this one.
Yeah. I think these movies are very good. Both of them are really, really good. I think Infinity War is another one of my favorites theater experiences. I think that it does a lot of cool things. The twist at the end is so fucking good. I think Josh Brolin as Thanos is amazing. Some of my favorite scenes in the MCU are in this movie, but the Batman, however, is also up there in my favorite films of the decade thus far. I think that's Matt Reeves did a absolutely fantastic fucking job directing this movie. I love all the set pieces and the cinematography. That Batmobile chase with the Penguin is one of my favorite scenes as well uh, in superhero movies, but also just in my viewing history. I think it's fantastic every time I've seen it. The suspense in the theater was so fucking good, and the sound design,
Oh
it
yeah.
felt like you were in that fucking chase. It was so good. Um, but I love Robert Pattinson as Batman. I think that Paul Dano did a great job as the Riddler, and I also really like fuck, what's his name? The guy who played Alfred. Uh,
Oh, Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
he's in so many things. Gollum
Yeah,
from Lord of the Rings.
yeah. Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, yes. I like him as Alfred a lot. I think the casting is really good throughout this entire movie, but yeah, it is my favorite Batman movie, and I think it's a lot. A lot of the people in my family are like, it's too long, it's too convoluted, it's boring. It's like, I don't know, man. There's something about it. I love that Batman gets to kind of be like what he's supposed to be, like the world's greatest detective, and I think he gets to do that throughout this movie. And I
Mm,
think it has a couple cool, a couple like funny dark humor moments, like the thumb drive bit was
yeah.
got me in theater. Um, but I love this movie a lot. I love Infinity War as well. I think it's a fantastic and huge part of the MCU. But I don't know, the Batman is my favorite Batman movie, so I'm gonna go with
Mm.
that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ask me this question at different times, I would give different answers between these two movies, honestly. Um,
Mhm.
I haven't seen The Batman since it was in theaters, but like you were saying, it was like a fantastic theater experience throughout the entire thing pretty much. I do remember it feeling fairly paced well for it being a 3 hour movie about a depressed billionaire being a superhero.
Yeah.
But you know, I really do think this most recent MCU binge I've been doing with my mom has like given me a whole new appreciation for both Infinity War and Endgame, just for like literally the cinematic achievements that they are. Like, I mean, the cast alone is insane for Infinity War. But like the way it like ties together so many different stories and so many different characters, all doing this like fairly simple plot of, stop Thanos before he collects more of the stones. Like it's like pretty surface level when it comes to that, but like the tension and the stakes of it are like huge. And then, Josh Brolin and Thanos having just like an actually like compelling villain that's acted well and like written well. And I think the way it just ties so much stuff into one movie and is kind of like this big culmination of literally 10 years of films, I think is extremely impressive and something that I've really enjoyed on my second, maybe third rewatch of it. And Yeah, I don't know. I really grew a whole new appreciation for those movies, like Infinity War and Endgame, recently. And the Batman, it was great from what I remember. If I will say one thing, and I know you were just kind of talking about it, I do think one of the things that stopped me from really wanting to do another rewatch of it is the fact that it is 3 hours long. Even though like it is like I remember it being paced fairly well. The
Mhm.
fact of the matter is that it's still a 3 hour long superhero movie, and it's kind of a lot to sign yourself up for, I guess. Even though it is
It
like
is.
fantastic, even though it is a really great movie. Meanwhile, I think Infinity War is just like, I mean, I know I made the comments about roller coasters versus cinema earlier, and this is kind of like the culmination of that, to be honest. But you know what? I think I'm actually leaning a bit towards the roller coaster today. I feel like I would have a different answer other days, like I said. So I think I would go Infinity War here.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. I do love both of these movies, but
Yeah.
I'm just a bigger fan of the Batman. Personally, I do think that's you, though. I do believe you win that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure I win that one. Yeah.
Cool.
I
Thank
sounded cocky
you.
when I said that. Oh yeah, that's me. That's me.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Put her over there. Yeah.
I do think there will be a couple of new ones here. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Seems like it.
All right. So next we got her versus the Lion King.
Um,
Have you seen her?
I have not seen her.
I
Uh,
thought you. Sorry.
No, I did see the sequel, Joker, but
Yeah.
sorry. But no, I would probably I'd probably go with Lion King here. But feel free to talk about it.
I thought you had seen her for some reason, but
No.
I watched this one last year, and I think it's really, really good. I think Joaquin Phoenix does a fantastic job acting alongside a phone.
Yeah.
But
ScarJo phone, yeah.
Scarphone, yeah, she does a great job too, without seeing her one time throughout it. But um, I think it's like it's a really cool character drama that explores just how important relationships are, uh, and how like AI can fuck that up
Hmm.
for people. But it's just it's a really cool character piece. I think Joaquin Phoenix does a fantastic job. Um, I could probably go without. Well, no, I'd watch it again, but it's like it feels like it the first watch was like, wow, that's an interesting one. I'm glad I'm glad I
Hmm.
watched it, but that was weirdly horny and very sad. But
Story of my life. Yeah.
yeah, I think my review on Letterboxd was, oh man, now I'm sad and horny. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a good movie. I think you'd like it, but it's interesting. But yeah, right now I think I'm feeling the Lion King as well. So yeah, Lion King can move on here.
Cool. I feel
Uh,
like her's one that I've heard like go like I feel like when it came out, like people weren't like super positive about it, but I feel like I've heard a lot about it in recent years. Like people like coming back to it and being like, actually this is a great movie or something.
yeah, a bit of a cult classic maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's the case.
But yeah, up next we got Across the Spider Verse versus Whiplash. Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about both of these. I do like Whiplash a lot. I think it's a great movie with great characters and stuff. But I think just for me, the complete spectacle of Across the Spider Verse is just something that I appreciate. I guess just a little bit more, me personally. But like Whiplash is great. I mean, shout out to a genuinely music centered movie being
Yeah,
as big and respected as it is. I mean, that's great. Um,
yeah,
but I think it would go Across the Spider Verse for me here personally.
yeah. I agree. I love Whiplash. I think pretty sure it's Damien Chazelle. Pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And I love a lot of the directing throughout it. I love those like snapshots between the drums and Miles Teller and Fletcher and everything.
yeah,
I think a lot of the directing is really fucking good, and the story's good. Like I said, J.K. Simmons' performance is fantastic. But yeah, all the stuff that we said about Across the Spider Verse just makes it what it is, and it's so fucking good, and it deserves its flowers. So I'm gonna go with Across the Spider Verse as well.
yeah. And real quick, for a shout out to Whiplash, you're saying Damien Chazelle. Something we didn't mention is that I'm pretty sure this is. I'm not sure if it's a student project, but it came from like a very, very, very small budget project that was like
Yeah,
really passion project by J.K. Simmons and the people around him and stuff like that, into making it as big of a film as it turned out to be. But it started like a really small indie film, pretty much.
yeah,
It was pretty inspiring to just see nowadays.
it
But
is.
yeah,
It's fantastic. I'm glad that it got as big as it did. But up next, we got Get Out versus Nobody.
mm. Well, I have not seen Notebook. Wait, yes, I have. Sorry, I was thinking, what's the other? What's the other one in the trilogy of the Get Out? Not Nope. It's
Us.
Us. Yeah. For some reason, I was
Yeah,
thinking that was Us. I have seen Nobody, because we talked about it last round.
you sure
Um,
did.
I sure did. Get Out is one that I've seen once at a friend's house, at my neighbor's house, and that was a while ago, to be honest. I remember liking it, but I don't really remember too much about it aside from like I guess some of the I don't know, the big moments, I guess, in the overall plot. But like I was saying with Nobody, that's also been a while since I've seen that, and I do remember a lot of that stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't really have too much of a background with Get Out, and it's one that I need to rewatch, to be clear. But yeah, so yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think about it, though.
Yeah, I surprisingly I have also only watched Get Out like maybe one time. I think I've watched it twice, maybe.
Mm,
But I do remember really, really loving it. I think that Jordan Peele is a fantastic director, and I've loved both Get Out and Nope. I wasn't as big on Us, but I did enjoy it. Um, I think that it did a lot for like the horror genre when it came out, and I think that it showed what Jordan Peele was capable of in his directing.
yeah,
And also, I love Daniel Kaluuya, and
yeah,
I think he does a fantastic job as well. But it is one that I really, really need to rewatch. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and since I have, I also think that Nobody was a little more memorable for me, and I have seen it twice, I believe. Um, though it's been a while for that one as well. Uh, so like I feel like if I had watched Get Out more recently, I would go with it. But for right now, I think I'm going Nobody as well, uh,
cool,
which is yeah, cool.
cool.
Alrighty, up next we got Deathly Hallows Part Two versus Dune Part Two.
How fitting. Second installments in both of these series.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you go first on this one. I've gone first the last couple ones.
All right. Um. While I do love Deathly Hallows Part Two, I think it's a great way to encapsulate the Harry Potter series, which I love so dearly and was a big part of my upbringing. Uh, it might be recency bias versus nostalgia here, but I don't know. Dune Part Two, the visuals are so fucking good. The performances are all fantastic, um, and the soundtrack as well. Oh my god. I don't think either of us mentioned the soundtrack when we first talked about
Yeah.
Dune, but fantastic.
Shout out Hans.
Oh yes. But you know, I absolutely love Dune Part Two. It's like I said, it's my favorite movie of the year thus far, and it'll probably stay that way. But I love Deathly Hallows. I love Harry Potter, but Dune Part Trois takes it for me here.
I think it's Bill. I think Troy has three or something.
No, oh,
Um, but yeah, I would actually agree here. As much as Deathly Hollows Part Two has shaped Harry Potter for me, and well, hasn't really shaped Harry Potter for me, but yeah, as much of like a spot it has in my childhood and how great of a film I think it is to wrap up everything pretty neatly. I do think Dune Part Two is just you know it's a huge spectacle. I've been saying that a lot this episode, but it's true. Huge spectacle that is just like a modern achievement. Really with the CGI and the score, like you said, and the acting, and like I was talking about with the themes of it too. I think are really unique to it. Even though it's based off a story from like the 40s or something, maybe 60s.
yeah,
But
I believe.
yeah, but I mean, I think just the way that it's all brought to life in film is just really, really awe-inspiring, and just it's definitely my favorite movie of this year. And I think it does enough to stand above Deathly Hollows Part Two for me as well. As much as I think it wins in almost every department except for nostalgia factor. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would go Doom Part Two here as well.
All right. Cool.
This is the one I was laughing
Oh, okay.
at.
That's funny. Up next we got Django Unchained versus The Incredibles. Uh, very similar, very
Yeah,
uh,
similar themes in this one.
tones as well, and language.
Yeah,
But
I think they say the
uh,
N word a similar amount of times.
yeah, Frozone is really
Yeah,
he's got a mouth on him. So
yeah.
um, yeah, Django Unchained is my favorite Tarantino. Um, I have seen this one a good few times. I think Jamie Foxx does a fantastic job, as well as Christoph Waltz again as a good guy this time, and Leonardo DiCaprio as a bad guy this time. But it's it's just so fucking good throughout. I love the story. I love all the big the story beats as well. Um, I think that it's just the most engaging of the Tarantino movies. And just, I love Inglorious Bastards. I think it's a really fun watch, but like, there's a few moments that I'm like, I think it's a longer one,
Mm.
so I'm like, could have been shorter. But Django, I don't know. It might also be the same length. I don't know. I don't remember, but I just know that I love it, and I love all the performances and the soundtrack and everything. And I love The Incredibles. Like I said, is my favorite Pixar. But I don't know, Django is just like a really, really well acted, well made movie. So
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think Django and Inglourious Bastards are pretty close to tied for first for me. I think Inglourious Bastards would win for me personally, but Django,
mhm.
like you were saying, fantastic movie. I do love how I love when a film has like a straightforward plot, but like also does it extremely well. Like it's basically just get your girlfriend back from the slave
Yeah.
owners. We're gonna help you do that. And it's
Mhm.
just fantastic characters, fantastic acting. Again with like Tarantino doing well with like Nazi era Germany. Like he does really well and really appropriately, I think, with adapting how brutal this a lot of the slave stuff was. I mean, I'm sure it got even worse than that in real life,
Uh,
but the brutality of the movie is like not even in just like the fun brutalities, like the big shootout, but like the like real slave stuff that was happening was kind of hard to
yeah.
watch at points. But it
Like the
very
Mandingo fights.
yes, yeah, like that, or like the hot box, or any of the whipping scenes or anything like that. It can be a little tough at points, but I think it's told very respectfully, and really, um, I guess maturely for Tarantino. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like he balances like the humor and like the seriousness very well. I think is what I'm trying to get at there.
Yes.
And it's just yeah, Jamie Foxx does phenomenal in this movie. These are both Jamie Foxx movies. But
Oh no.
didn't wait. Who'd you say does Frozone?
That's Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, I thought that was Jamie Foxx
They're
for
both,
some reason.
well, Samuel L. Jackson is in Django, so I
Okay,
was,
they're both Samuel L. Jackson movies. Here we go.
yeah.
And he plays the bad guy in both of them.
Yeah, that's,
But
hey, let him sleep in a big house.
yeah. um, yeah, I actually didn't even think about him with Django. But yeah, he does phenomenal in Django
Yeah.
as well. Honestly, maybe one of my favorite roles from him. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and once again, I haven't seen The Incredibles since I was very young, so I would go Django Unchained here.
Cool. Yeah. Also, that KKK scene in Django is also one
Oh
of my
my
favorite.
God, yeah,
Yeah, it's, if I mean, if you want a more like more down to earth, less no comedy look into what slaves went through, I will suggest 12 Years a Slave. That's
yeah.
a great movie. Really fucked up, very sad, but a great depiction with great performances. So
Yeah, that's one I've been meaning to watch at some point, but I know I've heard it's a bit of a you watch it once and you're good.
yeah,
Yeah,
I never need to see the movie again, but
yeah,
uh, great performances in that. And up next, we got Everything Everywhere All at Once versus Knives Out.
yeah. I mean, similar to I forgot what I voted for over Knives Out the last time. It was another. really good movie. Uh,
Inglourious
Inglourious Bastards, yeah, Tarantino.
Basterds.
Um, Similar to that, I love Knives Out. I do love Knives Out, but I love Everything Everywhere even more. Like, but I can't underestimate or understate, I guess, um, how much I enjoy Knives Out, even though I'm going to be voting against it twice here. But Everything Everywhere All at Once is in that same tier as Inglourious Bastards for me, if not maybe even a little higher.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that movie. So that's the answer for me.
Yeah, these are both some of my favorite movies in general.
Yeah.
I love both of these very very much. But I love the I just love how big of a factor family is in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Hmm.
I think that being the core story throughout the movie is very like it's very sweet, close to home. I love sort of just like family dramas that are able to like use humor as well as drama that to drive a story, and Everything Everywhere does such a great job at that. um, I love Knives Out. I love the mystery. I love all the performances. But I don't know. Everything Everywhere All at Once is just such a special and like unique movie that it's just it just makes it so fucking good. And Knives Out, while it is unique and it is fun, they can keep making sequels, but I don't think that they could ever make a sequel to Everything Everywhere All at Once. So,
Yeah. Nor
um,
should they. I don't. Well, I mean,
no,
probably not. Yeah. That
yeah,
feels like a magic in a bottle. You know.
it does. But yeah, I love Knives Out, but Everything Everywhere moves out.
Cool.
Alrighty. Up
Oh boy.
next, The Last Jedi versus Prisoner of Azkaban.
Uh, the both of these are the best directed movies in their franchises. I will say that.
Yes.
Um, um, I Last Jedi is one that I do need to rewatch, but I'm not on nearly as on the negative train as a lot of people are with it. I think it looks fantastic. I remember it being acted pretty well too, and I think it takes interesting story risks that you don't see in Star Wars. You don't see interesting risks a lot of the time in the storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think I really appreciate that about it. I think the movie itself does get a little bit soiled just in Disney's handling of it, with like,
Yeah.
each movie being a different a different vision by the director pretty much.
Yeah.
Because Ryan didn't really want to do what JJ wanted to do, and then JJ really didn't want to do what Ryan wanted to do in the last one.
Yeah.
So it just kind of makes this, it does in hindsight make this even a little bit more awkward, I guess, in some ways. But I do think it, what it could have been, I still appreciate that factor of it. I think it's directed really well. And there's a few stuff like I remember not liking the casino part that much.
Yeah.
But I need to rewatch this one. I should just rewatch a lot of Star Wars ones. We got Disney Plus now.
Yeah.
But Prisoner of Azkaban, like I was saying, up there for my favorite Harry Potter movie. Probably my second favorite, I would say.
Mhm.
And I think it does deliver well within the series as well. And is you know just a great movie, like I was talking about earlier before. So I would probably go Prisoner of Azkaban here, but I'm whatever you're feeling, of course.
Yeah. The Last Jedi, I love it. I think that people who don't like it are just like babies. Because a lot of the criticism that I do see about it are just like super stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like the criticism about, oh, Luke wouldn't do that. Luke, they completely ruined Luke's character, but it's like they didn't. They just made him who he is. They gave you the reason why he is the way he is now.
Mm-hmm.
But people just don't like that. They want their 80s Luke, and it's like, grow up. But hey,
Yeah.
it's not like a perfect movie. I think that the casino scene is scenes on the casino planet are the worst part of that movie by far. But so much else of it, so okay. What am I trying to say? Um, all of the other parts, other than that, I think are really, really good. I love the fight in the Red Room, in the throne room after Snoke is dispatched. Spoilers, but it's
He just gets
another
dispatched
Andy.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Yes, another Andy Circus performance for Snoke
Oh,
there.
I forgot about
Um,
that. Yeah.
yes, but I love the dynamic between Kylo and Rey in this movie. I think that I love the training scenes between Luke and Rey as well. Uh, I think I don't know. I love Ryan Johnson. I've said it a couple times throughout this bracket because Denis and Nolan are both some of my favorite directors, but uh, Ryan Johnson is also up there
Mm-hmm.
uh, because he does all the Knives Out as well. So it's just I love The Last Jedi. It's up there with Revenge of the Sith for me. And yeah, I love it. But Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite Harry Potter. Uh, so I think I think that's I will go with that one. Though I do think The Last Jedi deserves more love than the
Yeah,
hate that it gets.
I would agree.
So
Yeah, there's it gets a lot of undeserved hate for sure.
oh
By people who want to hate it. So
yeah, it's just
it's
grow up,
also
people.
it's also SJW woke shit. So I kind of see where they're coming from. But
So
yeah,
making Ray the main character is just disappointing. I think
totally. Yeah,
they should have made it a man and a
yeah,
white man. But you know that's all right. They have a chance to regain my love and trust with the next couple. So
yeah. As long as there's a white man at the front,
that's that's all I want.
he better be straight. Okay.
Oh, we better.
He better kiss his
But,
sister too. Um,
and have daddy issues. But
yeah,
up next we got Prisoners versus Infinity War. Again, a very similar tonally
yeah.
matchup here. Uh, but yeah,
Um, I, as much as I was singing the praises of Infinity War, like I said, I think Prisoners has somewhat altered my brain chemistry a little bit when it comes to films and like the ability a story can have an effect on me. I think Prisoners is like I do think it's a perfect film from what I remember from it. I wouldn't change anything about it, and none of the performances. Well, yeah, I wouldn't say the. I mean, Josh Brolin gets close, but none of the performances in Infinity War match what Hugh Jackman put into that role,
no,
or even Jake Gyllenhaal. Um, I think yeah, we've sung the praises of Prisoners, and I think all of that leads me to I appreciate that more grounded stuff than the big theatrical things for the most part. So
yeah,
I would go with Prisoners here.
yeah, me as well. Well, I do love Infinity War, but I think Prisoners is just like you said, it's a perfect movie, and it's such a feat in storytelling and like realism in
Yeah,
film that I love it. So
love it.
new zone.
All right, now we should be in all treaded
Yeah,
on territory.
yes, sir. And up first in this next round, we got the ranking across the Spider Verse.
You were kind of cutting out there a little bit. For our audio listeners, The Lion King versus Across the Spider Verse.
About that.
You're good. I
Uh-huh.
think you covered the mic when you were flipping the iPad or something.
Oops.
um,
Um.
all I gotta say, fuck them '90s kids. I think Across the Spider Verse. I mean, Lion King is amazing, iconic, so great. Across the Spider Verse is monumental. I think it's better in basically every aspect, honestly.
Yeah. I think they're both super well animated. I love the performances in both of these movies. Um, the the fuck the music in Lion
Mm,
King is iconic and great. I think Jeremy Irons does a great job in Be Prepared, but nothing. Yeah, no animated movie on this list at least is coming near Across the Spider Verse. It is
yeah,
fantastic and transcendent, and is one of the greats up there. So Across the Spider Verse for me as well.
cool.
Uh, cool. Up next, we got Nobody versus Dune Part 2.
Doom Part 2.
Yeah.
Nobody was great. It's gotten kind of far.
Yeah. Yes. Great movie. I love Jimmy. Uh,
Yep.
but,
You love
but
yourself?
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you gotta have love.
that's good. That's good.
But nah, I love the Bob Odenkirk. That's the
Yep.
name. That's his name.
Bobby boy.
Uh, but yeah, dude. Up next we got Django Unchained versus Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Hmm.
Mm. I love Django, but Everything Everywhere. We've sung the praises of it throughout this entire thing. So
Yeah. Django is fantastic, but like I said, it's still my second favorite Tarantino. If it was Inglorious Bastards, I think for me personally, it'd be a harder conversation. But Django, as
yeah,
fantastic as it is, Everything Everywhere is even more fantastic, I would say. So I would go with that as well.
cool. All right, Everything Everywhere moves on. And up next, that's really good. We got Prisoner of Azkaban versus Prisoners.
That's amazing. Very
Couldn't
similar
have written
films.
that better. Yes, both about prisons,
Yeah.
um,
Um,
prisoners.
Prisoner of Azkaban, I love you. Great, great film. Directed amazingly. Great story. I mean, the characters existed for a while. But it's a wonderful Harry Potter film. Um, but Prisoners is something more.
Yes, yeah, it
Yeah.
is its own beautiful thing.
Although that is a really funny matchup. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, me too. That was really good. All right, semifinals. We got Across the Spider Verse versus Dune Part 2.
Ooh, the recent movie buffs hardest choice here, aka
Yes.
me. Um, I mean,
Um,
low key, I honestly think I'm feeling Across the Spider Verse here. Um, Doom Part Two was great and phenomenal. I think Across the Spider Verse will stick with me longer, honestly. Even though Dune came out this year, um, I don't know. Across the Spider Verse, I think is just. I mean, we talked about the whole time, but like everything from the animation, the characters, the story of it. I think it's just really well written, really well, extremely well animated, and just really, really engaging and like sets up for whatever the next movie will be. It sets it up extremely well. And Doom Part Two does that well too. But like, I don't know. I think in terms of like a complete package, I appreciate Across the Spider Verse a little bit more, even though it's not a complete package, like kind of intentionally.
yeah.
But like I don't know. I think for me personally, just my personal tastes, I would go with Across the Spider Verse, but like could absolutely see this going either way.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree here. I love Dune Part 2. I love it very, very much. I think all the performances are fantastic. But I don't know, Across the Spider Verse, there's something about it. It's just how amazingly animated it is and how much love and affection went into the creation of it. Um, not that love and Love and Affection didn't go into Dune Part 2, but
Right.
there's something about the the work of animation that like deserves its praise. And while I love the visuals of Dune very, very, very much, and I'm very excited for Messiah whenever that comes out. Um, I'm I'm very, very, very excited for the conclusion to the Spider-Verse movies. So, um, I love you, Dune Part 2, but I'm gonna do my own thing.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
thank you.
That was
Uh,
absolute cinema right there.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, man.
Especially right
Uh,
after our prisoner matchup. we're
yeah.
we're making movies over here.
Ooh. And up next, we got Everything Everywhere All at Once versus Prisoners.
Oh, this should be a final. Jesus.
It should.
Woo.
Mm.
Oh man, I was singing the praises of like how grounded Prisoners is, and then Everything Everywhere All at Once is kind of like the opposite of grounded.
Yeah, yeah,
But at the same time, it isn't because, like you were saying, like the family story is very, relatable, very touching, very human.
yeah.
Um, it's like both of them excel at being what they are, obviously.
Mhm.
I don't know. This is a tough one.
It is. Uh, at their core, they're both about family.
That's
Um,
true. Very different tones, but yes, they are both
yeah,
about family and keeping those that you love close to you.
yes. Um, uh, uh, this one's really fucking hard for me because I really think both of these are absolutely perfect movies.
I would agree,
Um,
but for completely different reasons.
oh yeah, no, yeah, they're extremely fucking different from each other. Um, but oh man, I really don't know where I want to go with this one, honestly.
Yeah, I'm at war within myself here because I mean I know I basically just said this, but like I think when it comes to films, I kind of have I mean I probably have more than two modes, but like the two modes that I would love the most when it comes to film are things
Mhm,
that are extremely creative but like done extremely well. And
mhm,
then also the really, grounded, really, really great storytelling.
mhm.
Uh, which I think those would be the two things I would say are my favorite things. And like this is just going head to head with that here.
Yeah,
Um,
seriously.
um, I don't know. I mean,
This
quite
really should be final, dude.
it should be. It should be. Quite
Uh,
honestly, as I'm speaking it and I'm digging out my feelings, I think I'm honestly leaning a little bit towards Prisoners here, even if
really.
it's like the slightest bit. And obviously, you can feel free to go wherever you want, but like I think reaching deep inside myself right now at this moment, I'm feeling Prisoners.
Yeah, I'm trying to determine if I was sat down and I was ready to watch a movie, and these were my two options, which one would I rather go with at this moment? I think I watched Prisoners more recently. Um, and I love both of these movies so much, but I don't know. There's something about Prisoners that is so it's rewatchable in like such a weird way that
Yeah,
like it's like
just because it's such a good movie, I would argue
yeah,
actually. Yeah.
yeah. But the perform it's just the performances. Hugh Jackman's fucking performance is the fucking real driver for like coming back to this, as well as like just the story in general. But mm,
It's one of the hardest
I
bracket moments we've had in a
it
while.
really, really fucking is. I think I'm more of a fan of drama in movies than I am comedy, and I think at its core, Everything Everywhere is more of a comedy than it is a drama.
For sure.
Though it does have its great drama moments. So I love both these movies very, very much, but I think I am also inclined to go with Prisoners here.
Damn. Yeah.
So
All right. That
yeah,
was toughy.
that was a toughie. Um, could have been the battle of the multiverses here,
It could have
but
been.
we, we got Across the Spider Verse versus Prisoners,
Hmm.
and with just how hard we thought about and we thought about Prisoners and Everything Everywhere and how deeply rooted it is in both of our um, film psyches. I think that Prisoners has to win it for me at least. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to, because it does kind of feel like a similar battle here. And at the same time, if we had Across the Spider Verse versus Everything Everywhere, that would have been a tough one as well.
Yeah,
Um, man, I need to have brackets have three options. um, um, I think, I mean, one of them has a Radiohead song in it for a couple seconds. So I mean, there's that,
that's true.
which is Prisoners. Which is the absolute cinema of music, of course.
Yeah.
Man, I think I'm also inclined to say the same thing. I think it's just a phenomenal movie,
Mm-hmm.
in general. And I think when it comes to, I mean, not that Across the Spider Verse isn't, because of course it is. But like, I think if I just break it down to the bare bones of like what is like just a perfect movie. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Prisoners has an ending. I mean, I guess it also kind of ends a little bit on a cliffhanger,
Yeah.
but like it's more like an interpretive thing, you know. It's definitely an ending. Um,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Across the Spider Verse is a half of a project, I guess. It's a damn good half. I think I would go with Prisoners for that reason. I think. um, I say that that is my choice, but I'm saying I think for right now I would go Prisoners. So yes, my choice would also be Prisoners here.
All right. Well,
And
where'd it go? There's. All right.
they don't call the
All right.
show Broken Boys for nothing.
They don't.
Because Prisoners is
That's
definitely about a few broken boys.
sure. Um, and the winner of our first movie bracket here is Prisoners. So
Whew.
if you haven't seen that one, go watch it. But be
Yeah,
prepared for some fucked up shit.
yeah, but good fucked up shit.
So, yeah, it
um,
is sick.
Whew. All
But
right,
yeah,
man. That was
that was
yeah, it was unexpectedly a toughie.
absolute cinema, you might say.
Absolute cinema, I would say. Um, cool. All
Mhm.
right. Well, that was our movie bracket. And yeah, now we can move on into song of the week, I think, unless you got anything else to add before we
No,
do
no, I'll get
so.
moving on.
Cool. That was a fun bracket.
Okay,
Um,
well,
I am up first, and I do not know what I'm going to choose. Did I choose that Greep song?
I don't think so.
Hold on, I need to double check just to be sure. Greep. I did not. All right, we'll do that because I actually really love that song. It's a little on the. It's like 6 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, sorry. Um, my song of the week that I will choose is definitely not a song I heard this week, but I think it got overshadowed by Magdalena Bay based on when I liked it in my songs the week it came out. But Jordy Greep of Black Midi has a new album coming out October 4th, and the lead single, I believe the only single as of this moment, is called Holy Holy, and I am going to go with that for my song of the week.
All right.
Everyone knows my name.
All right, that was Holy Holy by Jordy Greep. I almost said Black Midi. What'd you think of that, Colin?
Talk about movies. That was very like cinematic.
Yeah,
Uh, very, very like out of the box and different. I know that Black Midi is very like all over the place and kind of crazy sound wise, but that one was like even different from that. It felt like just Fever Dream,
Yeah.
and I really liked it, but I think I need to listen to it again because it was very like the lyrics a little hard to follow, but
Yeah.
uh, very interesting, very cool, and I'd be interested to hear more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love the little Latin jazz it takes on this one, but like mixed with some of that noisier Black MIDI type stuff a little bit in there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mostly just love the story on this track. I didn't pick up on it a whole lot the first time either. But it's basically the first part is basically him just, acting like this machismo like an Andrew Tate type person where he's just like, this big
Mhm.
arrogant piece of shit. But then like this whole second part of the song is just revealing how sad that really is, and he's just paying these women so he can get attention and make him look cool and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I think I think the way it breaks down that kind of character and like how it represents how in musically in the end when like all those like organs and stuff start coming in, like it just feels so sad and like so like, man, this is so pathetic.
Yeah,
I think he breaks down that character style well. I would recommend uh listening again with like the lyrics pulled up and stuff because it does. I think he does really good storytelling on it. Pretty cinematic, like you said. um
yeah.
but yeah, I've been liking that track a lot. So but what are you feeling for this week?
Well, like I said, I didn't listen to anything, but that new Have a Live track made me want to listen to them for a little while, and I did. I shoveled through their stuff yesterday, and I forgot how good of a song Arrow is, so I'm gonna go with
Ooh.
Arrow by Half Alive.
All right.
All right, that was Arrow by Half Alive. What'd you think, Mike?
Very, very, very good. I mean, that's one of my favorites on that album. Um, Sometimes I do wonder if I give Half Alive a little bit too much shit, or like if I'm just like really, nostalgia focused on Now Not Yet or something. But then I just listen to the songs again and I'm like, this is just so much more creative than the things that they've been doing as of late, for the most part. I mean, there is still good stuff that they do. I just wish it was more consistent sometimes. But yes, that song is phenomenal. I love the drumming on there. I love the big breaks that they build into, and just the general vocal performance from Josh is like really like engaging on this track, really intoxicating in a way. Um, I think he does great on it. But yeah,
Yeah, that song is so close to being um like tied. It's I would say it's pretty much tied with Still Feel as my favorite Half Alive song. I think they're both so fucking good and so fucking fun. Um, I love the performances from everybody on that track. I love the synthy ending to that song as well.
oh yeah,
Um, and I just like, man, I like Conditions of a Punk, and I'm excited to see what happens with their third album. But what happened? like
yeah,
I don't know why they went away from the direction that they had um, with with Now Not Yet. And I understand wanting to try new things, but like Now Not Yet is so unique and so different and so exciting, and I really would love a return to form at some point. But you know,
yeah.
I love Vera.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I think
Here.
that's a good way to put it. It just it's not like what they're doing is bad per se, because I still like it more than like I guess the average things going on in pop.
Yeah,
But it does just feel like a little bit of a lost direction, like you said. I feel like
yeah.
that really is kind of the case. Like since Now Not Yet, it's just been a little like directionless, I guess, and just
Mm.
doing same things over again. It's just like slightly watered down each time. I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah,
you know, it's just like, they might just be a band with one fantastic album and
yeah.
a couple of good ones, but
I hope not.
I hope not either. But, really fun to see live though.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
uh, yeah. So we'll see what happens with Persona. But until then, go listen to Arrow. Go listen to Now Not Yet.
yeah.
Great album.
No, not yet. If you're into alternative pop rock I mean, I think they're definitely more pop. Um,
Yeah.
like we are, your 21 Pilots is and stuff like that. Definitely check out Half. No, not yet. Especially,
Yeah,
very very good album.
for
Cool.
sure.
Alrighty. Well, I think we can wrap it up a little bit here. It's actually I know we can. We're over a 2 hour mark.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Unless you got anything else to add that you thought of.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Go ahead and wrap it up, sir.
Wrapping it up. My name is Martin Scorsese. I'm here with my friend Jimmy Fallon, and
Yeah.
his favorite album, Clancy.
Oh yeah.
And you can see these beautiful things over on our YouTube channel if you're an audio listener. You can see our great role play that we did this week.
Yeah.
Both talking about absolute peak of art in both of our pictures. Uh,
Yeah.
you can come see these. We're under the same name, Broken Boys, capital N Bois. And there you can find, well, those beautiful pictures as well as the bracket that we did. You can
Oh
see
yeah.
it visually if that helps for next time or for this time if you want to rewatch the whole thing. And yeah, in the description, we got links to our Song of the Week playlists, the Song of the Week that we just did. In there, you can find Holy Holy by Jordy Greep or Arrow by Half Alive. You can find those in two of three places. We got a playlist for me, we got one for Colin, and we got one for both of us combined, along with our guests that we always have on the show. That combined playlist, pretty long, but a lot of good stuff in there. A lot of really good stuff in there. Um,
Oh,
and yeah, we also have some personal stuff too. For me, I make music most of the time under the name Plaintive. And yeah, I'm working on a project right now. It is being worked on. It is being worked on. And yeah, you can catch
yeah,
up
but
on your Plaintive lore though through
yeah.
Spotify and Apple Music, and anywhere you listen to your music. But those are the ones linked down below. I got an album out called Coping Mechanism out now. Go listen to it. It's good. I would say.
I would say-
There we go. We got got Jimmy Fallon's endorsement. Um, and yeah. I also have an Instagram down there. I've got my album of the year page where I rate and review albums. I also have my YouTube down there, as well as my TikTok. And for my proximity to you, dear viewer, um, I thought of it earlier, and this is just what I'm going with. If you've seen everything everywhere all at once, I am Rakakuni. I am under I'm
Oh,
under some man's hat right now, helping him do hibachi. And I'm a raccoon. And
bye.
yeah,
Uh,
behind you. Yes, thank you. Um, and Colin here, he runs our socials. He runs our Twitter page where he updates when videos are posted or if anything else needs to happen to the videos. He will post there. Go ahead and give that a follow and give the man some likes. And then he also runs our TikTok page too, where he posts little funny clips that we have. Go check that out too. There's some good stuff in there. Good stuff. Um,
yes.
and for personal things, he has a letterboxed, which is especially relevant to this episode, where
Yeah.
he rates and reviews movies. If you want to see him talk about some more movies and rate some more movies that weren't on this list, you got a plethora. Oh, excuse
Oh
me.
yeah.
Got a plethora at that link over there. So go ahead and do that for sure. But he's also
Sweet.
got an album of the year page where he rates and reviews music,
Mhm.
and an Instagram page where he rates and reviews music. And other than, or sorry, what is your proximity to our dear viewer, Colin?
Well, um, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be walking the layout, routines in the night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be lost in this very red environment,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna end up walking into a kitchen where there's a there's a where I see a man with a raccoon on his head that looks suspiciously like Mike. And
I get that a lot. Yeah.
Yes, and uh, I'm gonna walk in, and there's gonna be somebody facing me, and I'm gonna go, what the heck? And I'm gonna point behind them, and they're gonna turn and see that you, a raccoon, a man, are on top of Hibachi Chef's head, and we're all gonna be like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" And then uh, somehow it's gonna evolve into a hug. Uh, I
The
don't.
storytelling's gotten really advanced here at Broken Points.
Yeah, I see. I'm not as good as a director as the Daniels
Yeah,
who did
yeah.
Everything Everywhere. So I don't know how to bring this all together,
It's
but
okay.
it's all
Sometimes you
about
just gotta
family.
force it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about family. Um, you being Raccacoonie
Hmm.
reminded me of one of my other favorite Pixar movies, Ratatouille.
Oh,
Um,
interesting line of thought there, but okay.
uh, and we're all going to come together in our love of film and hibachi
Hmm.
and anthropomorphic animals, and we're all going to come together. And you're going to hug the dear viewer from behind. I'm going to hug them from in front, and uh, you being a raccoon man is going to be a little weird, a little, a little, um, what's the zoophilic,
Mm.
but um,
Oh yeah, I didn't think
you
about that aspect, but it's your
know,
problem, I guess.
I'll take it this week. It's all
Yeah.
right.
I'll take it this week.
I'm gonna kiss that raccoon right on the mouth, and we're gonna. I'm gonna hope that you don't have rabies, and we're gonna have a nice little makeout sesh right next to our viewer's ear. It might be a little weirder for them this week than it
Yeah.
is other, but hey, it comes with the experience of what we call the love cage, and it's different every time. So
Hmm.
if you want your very own love cage, all you got to do, dear viewer, is drop your address in the comments below, and we will find you and give you your very own love cage. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you, and you'll get your own. So drop that addy, and
Yeah.
we'll see you at some point.
And that's what I like to call absolute cinema.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, bye.
Bye.